Hello, friends. Welcome to Coding Garden. If you're watching this on YouTube when this is not live, because this is a live stream, be sure to check the pinned comment in the description for timestamps so you can jump ahead to the main content. In the meantime, we're going to hang out in the waiting room, so I'll see you in a little bit. friends. Welcome to Garden. Coding Garden? It's been too long. I don't even know how to say Coding Garden. It's good to see you all. It's been a while. I guess the last stream was the 2nd of the month. So I'm glad to be back. Happy to catch up with everyone and do a good old-fashioned live stream. Welcome in. It's good to see you all. It has been too long. Thank you, Eddie. Thank you for the resub. I need to make sure I can hear my alerts. Welcome back. What a surprise. Yeah, good to see you, Eddie. Thank you for the 33 months. Hello. Hello. It has been a long time. Let's make a to-do list because there's some stuff that I want to do. Some stuff that's broken. And then we'll get back into it. What's up, Kim? Welcome in. So let's see. This is all out of date. Is this the last time? Yeah, the last time we did a Q&A was whatever month is 8. August? August was the last one. It's gonna take me a second to warm up. It's been too long since I've been in front of the camera talking to you all. Yeah. Yeah, welcome in, Radiant. Yeah, I mean, I wasn't on any sort of announced break. I just have been working on other things and haven't been streaming. I used to stream at least like 3 days a week. Hopefully we're gonna get back to that now that I'm a bit more available and such. But some of the things I want to work on right now, I need to fix this overlay. So this is a custom overlay that I built, and the 7TV emotes are now broken because they deprecated their old API. So if you try using a 7TV emote, let's see, like this one. It's your first time. Well, welcome in, Radiant. Good to see you. Yeah, so any 7TV emote doesn't actually show up in the overlay. So we're going to fix that. Yeah, what's up, Avi? It has been a while. That's the first thing we're going to fix. I should have made this list before I went live because there's a few other things. Fix the API. Hey, Alka. Good to see you. Something else is broken. Maybe I'll think about it as we're here. Oh yeah. We have so here's the thing. I used to be at least be live a few days before Christmas and sometimes even on Christmas Day, but I wasn't. But we have an overlay that is a Christmas tree. And I want to fix that because right now it doesn't work for the updated API because I'm live on both Twitch and YouTube, and this is the drop game. I'll show you how to play the drop game. Anybody can play the drop game, just like Alka. So Alka did !drop followed by an emote, and it falls from the sky. So if you just do drop me, that'll drop your either Twitch or YouTube avatar. Hey, BGNYC, thank you for the resub. And if it lands in the garden, you'll get a nice little seedling with your name on it for a little bit. And we have a version of this game where there's a Christmas tree, and your drops, if they land on the tree, become ornaments on the tree. And we're gonna. I'm okay with celebrating Christmas at least until the end of the year. So we're gonna fix that overlay. It's live, Kaiga. Welcome in. And what's up, Andrew? Good to see you too. So yeah, we're gonna run the Christmas tree one, but I need to update it so that it can pull in messages from YouTube and Twitch. So that's the two things I have on my list. And anything else that comes up, we'll probably work on that. And we'll also just say hey to everyone. It's been a long time, and it's been a long time since I've just done a stream where I just talked and wasn't like focused on doing something else. So yeah, let's do all of these things. If you're new here, welcome. I'm CJ. This is the Coding Garden. I've been doing this a long time. If you stick around long enough to want to know more about me and what I do, you can check out the frequently asked questions. But otherwise, we're going to say hello to everyone. And hello, Eternal Dev Coder. I'm sure I'll say hello again. But if you'd like me to say hello to you, to acknowledge you, you can say any one of these things. Send any message that matches this regular expression, and I will notice you. I'll say hello right back to you. So if you say hi, hello, hello, hey, yo, cheers, greetings, hi, us up, what's up, morning, afternoon, evening, howdy, good day, coding hi-yo, vo-hi-yo, or boga-hey, say any one of these things, and I will say hello right back to you. We're going to go back in time to 18 minutes ago when Dave's running was the first to say hello. And Dave's running. This is your first message in my chat. Welcome in. Good to see you. What's up, Codex and Sarah Sum and Disredis and Laith and Limotes and Eladbar who says they're going to tune in later. Good to see you. What's up, Mark Boots and Pranjal? Thank you. What's up, Ali Masba and Nice Opinion and Aristos and Ryan and Husam Code. And what's up, Ogi? Who says happy holidays. Congrats and thank you for the Christmas album. I appreciate that. Yeah, so if you're wondering, one of the things I was working on was a Christmas album with my wife. And this is my break timer. We're going to take a stretch. If you're watching from home and you're sitting down, maybe stand up, do a little stretch. But yeah, this is something me and my wife have always wanted to do because we are both musicians. And I started working on this thing November 1st and then just got completely consumed by it. It is an album of some of our favorite Christmas songs. We recorded all the music. I produced everything. I mixed everything. And a ton of my time was just spent learning how to mix things and how to make it sound good. So that's what I spent a ton of time on. Yeah, I'm glad some of you got to listen to it. I'm happy about that. Appreciate that. What's up, Kim? Hello. And Abu, good to see you. What's up on Computer Guy and Andrew and Malin and Khalid Dev from Morocco. Very good. What's up, Nix and Alka and TG Digital and Nico and Randy and Ionized Sun and Friniz and Arpats and Bidger. View says can't stay long. And thank you. I appreciate that. Who says good job on the Christmas album. And Celine, good to see you. And Julian, hello. Welcome in, everyone. We're here. We're here. Oh, I didn't see Codex say goodbye. But enjoy your food, Codex. No worries, SMC May. We're just getting started. We're just getting started. So yeah, I mean, it's technically 2 days after Christmas, but if you still want to hear Christmas music, you can check out this album. We're also over on we're on Bandcamp. Here it is. Yeah, and I had the idea for this album art. It actually is somewhat inspired by the great Phil Spector Christmas album. A Christmas Gift for You from Phil Spector, which was the name of the album when it was so when it was released, it was called A Christmas Gift for You from Phyllis Records. And then they changed it to A Christmas Gift for You from Phil Spector. And then it's now called the Phil Spector Christmas album, if you see it in the stores. But this is like a classic, best Christmas album ever. And we sort of were inspired by that for the name of the album and the album art. And then specifically, Sleigh Ride is our cover of the Ronettes version of Sleigh Ride. These are the Ronettes here. It's the classic Sleigh Ride version that you hear in a lot of Christmas movies. But I relearned to play the saxophone. So I played saxophone back when I was in high school, but I haven't played it in like 17 years or so or longer. I learned to play again. I rented a tenor saxophone and learned to play, and it's on the Sleigh Ride track. Cool. Yeah. Oh, yeah, there might honestly, yeah, there's some blocked terms because of things that were happening a while back. Let me fix that really quick. No, I see what you're saying, TG Digital. Let me fix that. I literally blocked the term like YouTube and Twitch because too many people were asking about some things a while back. Let me fix that. No more no config files today. All right. You should be able to say what you were trying to say, TG Digital. Sorry about that. Fix sub alerts? Are sub alerts not working? Sub alerts should be working. Maybe they're not. The thing is, well, Eddie's worked. I definitely saw Eddie's. The sub alerts might be broken. Maybe we fix that first. Honestly, I think I'll need to pull open this so it can run in the background in case any errors pop up. But thank you to all the resubs. Thank you, Limotes, for the 40 months, along with Chris with the 33 months, Mark Boots with the 20 months, Eddie with the 33 months, One Computer Guy with the 29 months, BGNYC with the 18 months, and Andrew with the 30 months. So the messages are popping up, but there's no sound. Is that what's happening? Did I get rid of the sound at some point? Yeah, these people are all OGs. Look at this. Limotes has been here for 40 months, 33 months, 20 months, 33 months. Okay, if not the alert at all, not just the sound. Oh, I see. The messages messages are appearing in chat, but they are not appearing in the overlay. All right, that's kind of a priority. So let me put that on the to-do list and also just get like a debug thing running so I can catch any error that might happen. What's up, Lister Cat? Welcome in. Meow. 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 You can time your resub? The issue is we saw at least one alert, and then we didn't see any others. So it might error out after the first one. I'm just gonna leave it running. I would say don't worry about it. I have the logs up now, so if something happens, we'll at least be able to debug it a little bit. Oh, and I'm not reading. Actually, am I reading? I don't know. I guess I should be reading both Twitch and YouTube chat. I forgot about that. I guess I can see all of your messages over here in this combined view. Yeah, and welcome in TG Digital. I appreciate you for that. Avi recently discovered a Chrome extension. You don't have to add a host permission if you don't need to use cookies in the HTTP request. Add Google Analytics tracking without the user's consent. Fascinating. I feel like that's not a good thing. That feels like a bug or something. I can't remember what life was like 40 months ago, and I'm glad to have been here. I'm glad you were here as well, Limotes. Yeah. Huh. Okay. I'm gonna catch up on anything else I might have missed. What's up, Zelino? Good to see you. Yeah, so this is another news about me, I guess, is I recently started listening to the Beatles. I had literally never listened, like I'd never sat down and like listened to Beatles music before. And my wife is really into the Beatles, and then that new Beatles song came out, and I was like, all right, I'm gonna listen to the Beatles now, and I listened to their entire catalog, and I am the Walrus, and so are you, and that's that's why we are the Walrus too. Isn't Christmas music in mid-February just the best thing? I don't really listen to Christmas music outside of like Christmas time, but me and my wife start listening to Christmas music like November 1st. We start like as soon as we can, basically. Well, reasonably when we can, I guess. I don't think it was along with Chris, but good to see you. Yeah. So we're seeing both. I have to get back in the hang of like looking at both. Honestly, I probably shouldn't look at the live chat because then I'm only looking at Twitch instead of YouTube. But yeah. Good to see you all. Okay. Good to see you all. Cuckoo, yeah. You'd like to see me using NeoVim? I just use VS Code. I just feel like I'm fast enough. Here's the thing: if I was not as fast as I wanted to be in my editor, I would consider using like Vim or Emacs or something like that. But I am as proficient as I want to be, or I think I will ever be, in VS Code, so I continue to use it. What's up, Fob? Okay, let's work on some things. So first up are 7TV emotes. They're broken in my overlay. We need to do some research because the 7TV API got deprecated. So all of the code for my backend that runs my overlays is in this repo. And there is a specific file called parse emotes. And right now it is, okay, so I think I was trying to update it and then maybe didn't get it. Oh, thank you, Fob. Thank you for the resub. And that worked. Hey, Martin. Welcome in. First, welcome back to YouTube. Second, when are you hiding that great hairdo underneath that beanie? I don't know. Sometimes I don't feel like making my hair look presentable, so I just wear hats. That's the main thing. Yeah. Am I still doing this full time? I mean, basically, it is my only source of income. But I have to start doing it more often so that I can make a proper living and everything. But here's the piece that goes out and gets the 7TV emotes. Let's take a quick stretch. And I think I tried updating it, but I just didn't make sure that the code actually works. But let's see. Does this URL work? It does. So apparently I updated it, but I don't think I updated the code to look at the new format, because if you look at the old version of this code, yeah, we can look at history. So like before my last stream, like I think beginning of the month, I was like, okay, let me try to fix this. But yeah, this was the old endpoint here. And now this is just completely, it doesn't exist. And so my backend was just like crashing anytime it tried to parse an emote. And so I swapped it out, but I think now the response is in a completely different format. There's a lot of ways we could go about this. One way I was thinking is, okay, what if we try to gradually introduce some TypeScript types, because this entire backend is written with JavaScript. I started writing this like several years ago and did not start it with TypeScript. But what if we introduce a little bit of TypeScript so that we would get some, I don't know, my TypeScript might not be able to help. I'm doing some really dynamic things here. Yeah. Oh, you're Kit Boga sub right now? That's unfortunate. Yeah. Sources for learning C#. First of all, check out C# Fritz here on Twitch. C# Fritz. He even runs workshops sometimes that's like intro to .NET, intro to C#. So definitely check out his content. I think he has a YouTube channel as well. There are definitely other people on Twitch that are doing C# that I may not know of, but you can always check the Live Coders team. So this is just a collection of streamers that like to write code here on Twitch, and you can see who's live and just click into their streams. Oh, your Coding Garden subreddit. I see. But Boga Hey is a Kit Boga emote. So yeah, definitely check out C# Fritz, and then from there, I would just recommend going to the Microsoft Developer Network (MSDN) documentation. This documentation, it's .NET is created by Microsoft, and their documentation is kind of amazing. And they have everything you need to get started right in here. Yeah, I guess I didn't even clarify what are you using C# for, but I guess if you're here, I assumed maybe you're using C# for like backend web apps and such. But this is the place to go. There might be some other video creators and tutorials and stuff, but this is where I would go if I were trying to learn more about it. All right, let's fix my app. All right, now it's my job to reverse engineer the code that I wrote years ago to make sure that this works. So here's what happens. This function runs that gets the 7TV emotes. Where is it? Right here. So this runs. And it's using Axios, so there's going to be a data property on it. We're renaming it to global emotes and channel emotes. The thing is, we're expecting it to be an array of emotes. And if you look at the new response, oh, sorry to hear that, Andrew. I've been talking about it for the longest time. I need to get a new t-shirt manufacturer. I wonder if you could reach out. I don't know what their policy or warranty is on things messing up like that. Fob says, I created my first real Android app in C# with .NET MAUI. Nice, nice. And Nikki Poo, thank you for the Prime. Yeah. I remember Xamarin. Xamarin got acquired by Microsoft, and now that's just a part of the tool chain. And Rogue Soul, good to see you. Welcome in. All right, so here's the issue. This response returns a property called emotes that is an array. And that is actually what we need to append here. Because before, we were expecting it to just be an array. So if we say global emotes.emotes, that's going to be an array. And then we're concatenating the emotes for Coding Garden onto them. And I need to figure out my Twitch channel ID really quick. Now I remember why I didn't, and thank you, Alka. Or thank you, Alkabot. Now I remember why this is still not working. Because there's a new endpoint for user emotes, and I actually don't know how we're gonna do that. So we have to figure that out. Let's just go to the 7TV API documentation. Head over to the docs. Oh, I see what you're saying, Avi. Literally any Chrome extension can have Google Analytics tracking, and the user doesn't have to consent. Fascinating. That feels like that shouldn't be a thing. All right. It used to be, their API used to be that you could just pass in the Twitch user ID and get back a list of emotes, but that endpoint doesn't exist anymore. And now it's users/user ID. Let's see if this works. If not, we have to look up the user by their Twitch ID to get the internal user ID. Yeah. So this is saying bad object ID, which means their API now no longer accepts a Twitch ID. It wants a it wants a user ID for their system. So we need to search users, and in the query string, we can pass in user ID. I'm guessing it's user underscore ID. Let's see. No search, get user connection. Awesome. Thank you, Alka. So if we already know the ID, thank you. We'll use this. So yeah, because now we can do users slash user ID. No, slash Twitch slash user ID. Thank you, Alka. Appreciate that. It probably would have worked the other way. With the other way, I would have needed 2 requests to get the internal user ID. But now, this one request gives me back the emotes. Beautiful. Yeah, so and that's a thing to mention, Leo, is a lot of APIs will do this. You'll notice that, I mean, this URL doesn't work at all anymore, but it is /v2. And so they've essentially deprecated that, and now you have to use v3. So v2 doesn't work at all, and it has a completely new format. But if we look at the response, we have emote set, and then emote set has a property called emotes. So first of all, we need to update the URL. It needs to be this. What's up, Vicus? I remember your name, yes. And then we need to concat channel emotes.emoteset.emotes. Okay, so now all is going to be one big array of all the emotes that are both global emotes and channel emotes. And then I have this appenderizer 9000, which is a what do you call this? This is it's honestly, I think this is a curried function. Because append emote accepts a selector so that it will append this emote to the regular expression, this giant regular expression that I'm creating. But I'm passing it a selector. So appenderizer 9000 is a function that we can call on every emote once we have it. But we need to make sure that the format matches. So if you look at each emote in here, it has a name. That's good. This is my longer break timer. I'm going to postpone it and we'll take a longer break once we get this working. So each emote has a name. And we're renaming that to code. And then each emote it no longer has URLs, it has data. Oof. We have owner, host, files. Oh boy. Yeah, I'm renaming it to code because the appenderizer 9000 uses the code here. It uses the code to put it into a regular expression. All right. Now, honestly, it would be really nice to know what the old one looked like, but it looks like I'm just grabbing the first URL and setting the URL there. I think I'm gonna have to construct the URL. So like, given the CDN URL, and then the name of the file, and I guess in this case, I just want to grab the biggest one. Yeah, that's what we got to do. So, we have Modjek. We can construct this just based on the ID. So let's do that. Basically, before they gave us an array of IDs, but in this case, we actually just want to do this. And then we can grab the ID from the emote itself. So we just grab ID. And so it'll be emote /ID / and then we need oh, easy. We don't even need to construct this. We can just do that. Done. Yeah, there's a lot of duplication in the API data. I would think they probably switched back into ORMs or back into tech, and then this is probably a lot more automated in terms of the data that they get back from their database. So it has a lot of duplicate data. They could probably clean that up, but at this point they'd have to deprecate their API. I do think it's always 4x.webp because webp can be an animation or a static image. I'm okay with assuming that it is always that. Yeah, we're gonna assume that. Yeah, I don't think I knew that either. And we always want the animated one. So yeah, I think we're good to go. I think we just need to make sure that the global emote set is structured in the same way. So we have ID, we have name, and then if we look at files, so it's same URL, cdn7tv.app/emote/id. Yeah, I think this is it. I think this is it, and I'm going to just deploy it without testing. And we can take predictions on whether or not this is going to work. But I think this is the winner. Gamble. Yeah, we're all going to gamble now. Will this work on the first try? Yeah, we're gonna. If you're watching on YouTube, you can actually come over to Twitch. Actually, depending on how many channel points you have. But yeah, we're gonna run a prediction. Yeah. So works on the first try. No errors. Emotes show in overlays. You have 2 minutes to make a prediction. Here we go. And Nookie Poo, thank you for the. Are those gifts? Yeah, I appreciate that, Nookie Poo. Thank you. Um, so I'll let you look at the code. I mean, do I think it's gonna work? I'm always overconfident, but as long as the append emote function works as I think it does, right? Um, it gets past the emote. We extract the code in the ID. We construct the URL given the ID. It should work. It should work. So if you think it's gonna work first try with no errors, you can predict it now. I mean, it might be a big assumption. Um, yeah, so like that one still works. Okay, here's the thing. I can't touch the code because people have already started um, predicting. But did I make a typo in these object paths? I don't think so. I don't think I did. Um, oh, I hope you did. Did you vote? It wouldn't work. You did. Yeah, I can see your badge. That means you voted against me. Um, is it over yet? No, we still have a little bit of time. Wait, what is that, Elka? Oh, that's a Franker Faces emote. I see. I believe in the power of the Appenderizer 9000. Thank you, Olpris. But now's a good time to mention this. My wife found this at the thrift store the other day. It's called Computers, Computers, Computers in Fiction and in Verse, and it just has a bunch of different like short stories about computers and technology. Um, and it came out. This book came out in 1977. So whenever we're on break, I'll read you a short story. We'll pick a short story from here and read them. Um, yeah. So, all right, let's see if it works. Let's see if it works. I'm gonna deploy it, and then we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. So here we go. Oh, we should be able to see chat while I'm doing this. Welcome in, Freddie. Hopefully, my code fixes this. Um, all right. Yeah, and Merry Christmas. You saw a backtick instead of a single quote? That should be what we need because we were bringing an ID into it. That's valid modern JavaScript. It's called a template literal. All right. I need to refresh the overlay. Does it work? It works. It works. There's a mod check. Nice, nice, nice. Yeah, it works. It's nice to have a win. Did you vote right? You voted right. Yeah, yeah. I think so. I don't know. Let's do the prediction. Um, works on the first try. No errors. Yes, yes, it worked. That's fun. But now you should be able to drop 7TV emotes now. Like people clap. Let's see. Yeah, see that works now too. You got 78K, 34K. um, since this is the chill stream, do I want to see a CSS 3D animation that runs smoothly in Chrome and Opera but breaks in Firefox? Sure. As long as the link is like a code pin or something like that, I'd be happy to look at it. And Hugo, thank you for the tier 1. All right, we didn't see anything in my overlay. Here we go. There, let's fix this next. Oh, I think the same error is happening potentially on yeah, same error is happening in my overlay. My overlay is trying to parse 7TV emotes and failing. So this should be an easy fix because we just fixed it here. In an ideal world, my overlay would run on the same backend, but my overlay is actually just directly connected to Twitch IRC. So I have to parse the emotes there as well. Okay, let's fix that. Let's fix that. And Speedstrat, thank you for the tier 1. Yeah, I don't know if I'm not gonna click your link, Freddie, just because I don't know. I don't know. But I can believe that certain things are broken in Firefox. All right. Yeah. Oh, glad to hear it, Steeple Marshik. I guess I don't know your YouTube name, but that's awesome to hear. Who says, I'm not sure you'll remember me, but I started coding in 2018 because of you, and now I'm a president of a top 10 tech association in Croatia. Glad to hear it. Congrats on that. Yeah, that's awesome. Fascinating. All right, this is actually, I mean, URL looks safe, but the content, is the content safe? Is there, you'd have to, that's why I'm not even gonna worry about clicking it, because the there could be code that like logs IP addresses or something like that. You know what I mean? That's all I'm trying to say. And Buggeray says your coding channel motivated me into starting my YouTube channel. Now I'm almost to 1,000 subs. Congrats! That's awesome. I'll have to check you out. Now, my friends, this is what technical debt looks like, because this is a completely separate app with the exact same code copy pasted. Now, if I were a really good developer, I would extract this out into a reusable library that I could install from npm, and that would be the right way to fix this. But I kind of just want to fix it quickly, so we're going to copy paste the code. But what that means is I can literally just take this function that we fixed earlier. I guess that would be YouTube content if we came over here to make a reusable library. Yeah, the issue is like I wouldn't publish this as is. I've thought a lot about what I would want to do if I wanted to publish this, because right now my code just generates a gigantic regular expression, but it would be much nicer if it generated an emote object similar to the one that comes from TMI.js. It's like a parsing of the IRC message to tell you where in the message the emotes are, and then it's up to the user to use that to replace them. That's what I would want to do. So that would take some work. I mean, I guess we don't have anything else on the list except for this. If we get this done, if we fix the drop game in a timely manner, maybe we will make a library. That could be fun. Okay. Now, I saved that. That should fix our overlay. I'm gonna have to refresh the alerts. Alka says, I'm a fan of turning the message into an array of text, cheer mode, emote objects. Yeah. But I mean, I don't know if TMI.js came up with that format, or I guess it's just like a reef. It's turning the Twitch IRC or the IRC metadata into an object, right? If you look at the messages that actually come back. Um, Something like that. I don't know. Um, yeah. And hey, Daddy Ray, the Twitch bot I have been building is in over 800 channels with the help of you and Alka. That's amazing. That's awesome, Daddy Ray. Um, yeah, I remember helping with that a little bit. Cool. Um, yeah, these errors are fine. They just have to do with, I think TMI is still calling out to an emote endpoint. But we should be good there. Let's work on the Christmas drop game. So doo-doo-doo-doo. I just have to find the code. Yeah, here it is. This is the code that connects to the old backend to get messages, but I need to connect it to the new backend. And it is Feathers.js. So instead of just socket.io, I need to pull in the Feathers.js client library. All right. We updated the regular drop game to do this. IO frontend can talk with the Feathers backend, right? Yeah. So Feathers can use socket.io as the WebSocket protocol, like the WebSocket client thingy. And that's what I'm using for my backend. So basically, you could technically connect to a Feathers backend with just socket.io, but if you bring in the Feathers client library, it makes it easier because it does some like message parsing. All right. Again, is this the stream where we start to refactor things? Yeah, and Socket.io can fall back. So like if I mean these days almost every client supports WebSockets, but if a client doesn't support WebSockets or there's like firewall issues or something like that, it'll fall back to long polling and still work. Did I hear that Microsoft has Microsoft Copilot and Bing chat apps for Android? I guess I didn't. I haven't really been keeping up with AI stuff and ChatGPT. This is the stream we throw it all away. This is the stream we get it working first, and then maybe we make a plan for throwing it all away. Not throwing it all away, a plan for rewriting it as a glorious, reusable, wonderfully crafted and architected piece of code. Maybe. Event sub win. See, there's a lot of things we need to do. So, because there's a lot of like hacky things that I'm doing. Like I'm relying on Streamlabs to get a lot of my alerts because they already send out those alerts over WebSockets, so I don't have to do any of the extra stuff that's required for the Twitch API for like event sub or what's the one where they send you a post request? I forget what it's even called. Um, you built a full alert system on Event Sub WebSocket. Cool, because last time I was working with Event Sub, like there were a bunch of undocumented events. So are they documented now? Like they're like because there were certain events for like even like follows were coming through if you were authenticated correctly, but technically those event IDs weren't documented, so technically it was an undocumented API. Have they documented all of that? Um, am I thinking pub sub? Okay, event sub is different. Um, all right, but again, we're gonna copy paste some. We're gonna copy paste some code. Um, because this is the seedling drop game, which is the drop game running right here, and we want this code running inside of the Christmas drop game. So we do this. We replace all of this with this. We need to get a feathers client. So let's actually check out how we're bringing in feathers. Are we just doing it? Yeah, apparently we're bringing it right in the HTML here. Event sub is the intended third-party API system. Well, that's good to hear. I will have to look into it. I mean, I've thought about like, okay, I do all this. I've been doing all this stuff with like Twitch APIs and YouTube APIs for the longest time. Can I create some sort of software as a service for streamers and content creators to have similar like overlays and stuff that I have? I mean, I realize at that point I'm basically competing with like Streamlabs and Stream Elements, which I probably don't want to do, and also probably competing with the thing that Alt F4 Stream is working on. But there's a lot of custom stuff I write that would be useful for other people. So I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I have a lot of open source things. Um, no, I'm not using a build tool. All this stuff is a couple years old. I mean, I guess that could be my excuse as to why I'm not using a build tool. But also, you don't always need a build tool. This thing it literally only runs as an overlay. Um, it doesn't need to be optimized much. I don't know. It's also not using TypeScript, so there's like no build process for any of that. Yeah, it needs TypeScript. Basically, everything needs to be rewritten. Not needs to. Probably should be. All right. We're just gonna copy over into our lib folder. Socket.io. We're gonna put that into this lib folder. And we're gonna do the same thing with feathers. All right. So at this point, we should now have, yeah, we have feathers and Socket.io apparently was the same. So now this code will work to connect to our backend. And then let's look at how we look at messages. So I think I'm gonna copy this drop handler. I'm gonna copy this whole thing. And then we'll try to update it if it needs updating. Because this is how we were handling the incoming messages before. And now we handle them like this. But let's see if there's anything different. Yeah, we want this. All right, if the command starts with drop, there's that code, but if command dot message starts with clear, and I don't think I want message dot author is chat owner. I just want to know is it me? Is broadcaster? Um, we got to do some debugging because I don't know what properties we get access to. All right. Is chat owner, I believe, is like a YouTube was a YouTube API thing. Is broadcaster is a property that I added on based on metadata that came from Twitch IRC. But in my latest version of the API, I combined them somehow. Yeah. All right. What are we gonna do? We're gonna just run this real quick and see if it works, or at least we're gonna start logging. So if I do clear, we're not connecting to the right backend. Let's see. I see. So I need to add these two properties to be able to connect. So let me do that. That's going to be an issue. Cool. All right. So this is the Christmas drop game. Now, when any drop command or any command comes in, we can see it. And what I want to look at, I think, are like probably badges. And so if badges dot broadcaster, then that means we can. I'm allowed to clear the ornament. So if this is the clear command, and message dot badges dot broadcaster is a thing, should be good. There's also a user object. This is coming from my backend. Let's see what happens if it comes from YouTube. Yeah, because YouTube doesn't have badges, but if we look at user, it has this property. So is chat owner. So we want either of these. So if it's coming from Twitch, we check broadcaster. If message dot user dot is chat owner, that means it came from YouTube, and we clear the ornaments. Okay, great. All right, I guess if that's the case, I I don't have to use this old codes. We can just use the existing code and just update it. So if command.message starts with drop, the username is going to be message.user. Something. Some optional chaining, yeah. Message.username gets set at the top level, and if it comes from YouTube, we also have message.author display name or author handle. We have a handle property on there. And if it's a Twitch message, we just have a login property. Display names can have like capitalization in them. I think we'll do this. So username is message.user.displayname or message.user.handle. So display name will give us the Twitch name, and then if they're coming from YouTube, handle will have that. You could name yourself. Well, the handles are unique on YouTube. Right now, if you look at the YouTube chat, it's actually just displaying people's names. Names are not unique. Yeah, names can be the same. But I am using the handle, which has to be unique. Yeah, I remember you talking about Twitch display names. Like, there's one user, is it like Riot Games or something, where like their Twitch name is completely different from their display name or something like that? Um, oh, yes, because this is the display name on YouTube, but I don't use that. I'm using the handle in this case, which would be Alka TV. Yeah. Okay, so that should be enough to grab the username. Man, I use message everywhere. This code is just gonna break. Yeah. I mean, really, if we just call this message, then the rest of my code will be much closer to working. What's up, Bytherio? Welcome in. Let's redo it all. I think I'm okay with just getting it working. Because message.message should still work. Because we look at this, message is the yeah. And if I do something like that, then message, we want parse message then. Yeah, we want parse message because that's what's going to automatically give us the emotes. Okay. An arrow function with two arrows is a hurried function. So this is a think of drop handler as a function that creates a function. And so it creates a function using this argument here. Yeah, a function that returns a function, and it's essentially, yeah, it's creating a function because I need one of them to be specific to Twitch, one of them to be specific to YouTube. And instead of like copy pasting the code, I can write it once, and now when I invoke it, it's going to give me back a function where internally the platform variable has been closed over, it's a closure. The platform variable is a closure so that the inner function has access to that. So basically, if the message comes from Twitch, platform will be Twitch, and if it comes from YouTube, platform will be YouTube. And so this, my friends, is why currying and closures are useful in and not just knowing about them for interview questions. Like you sometimes use this pattern a lot in React if you're like trying to create a reusable function that you don't want to define multiple times, and it needs to be like defined dynamically. So yeah. All right, we parse the message, split it on spaces, get rid of the command, parse out any emojis. If there were any emojis, we use a random one. If it's me, we need to grab their image URL. So we need to say message.user.logo. Or message.user. Something like avatar URL. This is a code for a drop game, which will work very soon. We're very close to getting it working, but this is a little overlay game where if you do exclamation mark drop followed by an emote or an emoji or the word me, you will fall from the sky, and if you land in the garden, you'll get a seedling in the garden. This is a Christmas version. I know I'm a couple days late, but this is a Christmas version where instead of landing in the garden, you become an ornament on the tree. But right now I'm updating the code so that it pulls in YouTube messages as well, because I'm live streaming on both Twitch and YouTube, and I want people on YouTube to be able to participate as well. So right now I have to update the code to talk to my backend, which combines the live chat of both YouTube and Twitch. I called it logo, so that's great. I don't have to do anything extra. All right. Otherwise, find an emote. Do that. All right, does this still work? And then if nothing was valid, you get to be a Twitch ornament, or you get to be a YouTube ornament. Yeah, cool. This should do it. So now, if I say, drop me on Twitch. Okay, can't access property split. Message.parsed message is null. Really? I see. It's optional only if there were like emotes inside of it. So we need to do message dot parsed message or message dot message. So if parsed message doesn't exist, then just use the message. All right, moment of truth. Got me. Yeah, it works. when will I use? I don't know. I can't get over just using the or. Yeah, you're completely right, SQL Gordster. We should do this. Nullish coalescing. This is the perfect use case because this is possibly null. I think my main hangup on using nullish coalescing is like it only works for null and undefined. And there are scenarios where I should have used or, but I tried to use nullish coalescing and then it doesn't work. So in this case, I'm just like, I just default to using or. Like, because technically, display name would be undefined. So would it work here too? Yeah, that works. Or does it? Yeah, that works. Yeah, so empty string I think is the scenario where I always mess that up. What am I trying to download here? Oh, emojis aren't working anymore. Man, we'll have to fix that. I guess is there a newer version of Tweemoji? 14.02? Um, you tried to use a flag? I guess yeah. Let's see. Does it break for all emotes, or like will it work with like a balloon like emote like this one? No, that broke it too. So regular emotes are broken. You sent a. Did you fix it in the main game? You did fix it in the main game. Are we just gonna update the library code? Why not? What line is this? Line 18? All right. Now it should work. Yeah, that works. Great. Let's just make it the overlay now. Oh yeah, this is the other fun thing is the snowflakes will bounce off of each other. They'll like you can yeah. Okay, this is awesome. Um let's get it working. Let's get it working. So what I need to do is over here we're going to use HTTP server. Now this is running on port 8086. And so I will replace the seedling drop game. Well, first of all, congrats to one line of me. That was a really good drop. But we're going to replace it now with the Christmas drop game. All right. Now you should be able to try to get some ornaments on the tree. Yeah, and it works from both Twitch and YouTube. So somebody asked, so the code communicates with the Twitch API indirectly. So my code that's running this overlay. Oh, I made it on the tree. Sort of. My code that's running this overlay is talking to my backend because my backend is pulling in chats from both Twitch and YouTube. It's basically I have a backend running that is listening for both via both of their APIs, and then emits any chat messages over one consolidated API. So this overlay is connected to my backend, which is both emitting Twitch and YouTube chats. Yeah, so and that's basically how you can do stream overlays for like OBS, the Open Broadcast Studio, or even Streamlabs, or a lot of other broadcasting software. They allow you to add what are called browser overlays or browser elements. And so all I did was I made a nice little game that works in the web browser, and then I just set that URL as the overlay. But yeah, that backend I was talking about is also used by this overlay. So this is an overlay I have, or right now it's a desktop app. It's not an overlay, but that communicates with the same backend to pull in the messages to kind of like show them here. And then this one is an overlay because it's running inside of OBS. Yeah, and so how do I achieve the overlay if there's a gray background on the page? OBS handles that automatically. It removes the back if there's a solid background color on a browser overlay, it removes that color automatically. You can also add some custom CSS. Actually, I think the default custom CSS sets the background to be completely invisible. Yeah. This is great. We're all getting on the Christmas tree. I apologize that the Christmas tree is late this year, but we'll leave this running. Yeah, you can get knocked out. That's the other fun one is they have the collision. So I didn't write the collisions. Let's find out who it is. Was it Doc that did the collisions? Um, is it Christmas Stroll? It is. We can look at the commits. Yeah, it was Doc. We have not heard from Doc in many years. I reached out on Discord. I think I tried emailing him too. Um, yeah, we haven't heard from him in years, but they wrote the collision code. And hey, Crafty Becky, welcome in. But yeah, they wrote the code that it uses like a quad tree to do the collisions. Um, like whenever the things collide in the air and like fly off of each other, they wrote the code for that. Something's broken that people are defaulting to the Twitch logo. Is it? Maybe it's YouTube's drop me. And hey, Amara, welcome in. This could be broken. No, that one works. It was December 2021 the last time they chatted here. Wow. All right, who just did that over on Twitch? Alka tried to drop Alka face and it came across it didn't get parsed. I'm not still using V1 because the emote parsing happens on the back end. And then I'm just pulling out the the parsed URL that came from the back end. Yeah. Crafty Becky says, currently working on a website revamp that is due next month. Went with a template and changing it to fit our needs. Nice. Glad to hear that you're doing dev work. That's awesome. All right, let's debug it. it's not working just yet. Give me a second. Hey, one line of me. Good to see you. Yeah, I don't know if I knew that. Maybe I did, but congrats. That's awesome. Um, why am I not seeing any logs? I'm seeing nothing. um, oh, nice, Dikushan. I've been following your content for a long time, going to my second round interview in January. Good luck. Yeah, good luck. But you don't need it. I'm sure you'll do fine. Um, I'm not seeing any logs, and I don't know why. Let me. The Twitch logo we manually set. We manually so if it can't find an emote and it wasn't drop me, then it just defaults to the Twitch logo or the YouTube logo. Yeah. But there's code that should find the matched emote first, and if it doesn't, then it does the logo. That's what's happening right now. Um, hmm. Oh, someone got on top of the tree. Did they get knocked off or no? Um, is there a reason you can't see the debugging? I thought I was trying to not show something. I guess I can show this. Let me make sure there's nothing. Oh, I did? I got on top of the tree? Oh, yeah, look at that. That's perfect. That's not a scam at all. All right. Parsed message looks like this. And this is why. Finite Singularity, thank you for the raid. Oh, that's awesome. It's been too long. Welcome in, Raiders. We're working on my Christmas overlay, and I think I'm about to fix it. But welcome in. It's good to see you. It has been way too long. Yeah, shout out to our friend Finite Singularity. What were you working on? OBS plugin development, adding to the new noise generation plugin, building some fun effects. Fantastic. Well, welcome in, Raiders. This is the Coding Garden. Today is a chill stream, but we're working on overlays. So I have this thing we call the drop game. And we were fixing it to work with my updated backend. And then on top of that, now we were fixing the fact that emotes didn't show up. But the idea is in the chat, you can do !drop with an emoji or an emote, and then that will be a snowflake that falls. And if it lands on the tree, you get yourself an ornament on the tree, and it'll show your name for a second. Working on a OBS plugin made a really sick effect. So a Loki morph effect. Like Loki from Marvel Cinematic Universe. But our codes was fascinating. Do you have any? Can you share a clip? I'd love to look at it. No, that still doesn't work. Yeah, share a clip. I'd love to see it. Okay, but this is what we're trying to fix right now. Our regular expression is not matching emotes that get sent, and this is there's something wrong with it here. I mean, arg. If we grab the first arg, we should actually just be able to match against parentheses like that, and that should just grab the thing inside the parentheses, which should be the URL. It should be as simple as that, honestly. What's up, Coding Garden fan? Good to see you. So we're looking at parsed message. I guess let's log what the arg is, but the I feel like that should work. I don't know. Maybe I'm missing something obvious. Null. Oh. Oh, because there's spaces. Oh. Okay. There's spaces in the squares. Um, honestly, oh, cool. I'll check it out in just a second. Um, all right. Instead of grabbing args at 0, let's just put everything together. Let's just say args. Um, like that. Well, no, like that. Because now it'll just be the rest of the message. That did it. However, it feels like there's potential for URL injection. Like, how do I stop someone from sending a message that has an image URL in it and then just use it anyways? Do I have a URL whitelist? I did. Maybe not. Probably shouldn't have said that out loud because now people are gonna test it. They're gonna send bad URLs. Here's what we'll do. I have a list of URLs that we should allow in a different code base. I'm just gonna copy that. This overlay hasn't been refreshed yet. So like I fixed the bug, but I haven't refreshed it to have the latest code just yet. All right. Just a second. Okay. I think I'm almost there. I don't know why am I hiding my screen on purpose? I think so. Give me just a second. It'll be working. We'll watch that video. We'll hang out a little bit more. But basically all I'm doing right now is I guess I can show you at this point. If we match a URL in the message, we need to make sure that we want to allow that URL because someone could send a random URL and then we're just embedding the image in our overlay and that could result in some bad stuff. But we yoinked this code, copy pasted from one of my other code bases that has a bunch of allowed URLs. So if anything is coming from my local network, we're going to allow it. We have various host names that we allow, like where the emotes and emojis would be coming from. But also we have URLs for some of our VIPs and mods that I trust to send any random URL. And so all of this gets tested against the URL. As that only happens if parse messages. Yes. So basically, what happens is, we try to see if there was a URL in the message. If there was a URL in the message, we then check to see, is it allowed? If it is, we use it. If it wasn't allowed, then we just fall back to like the Twitch logo or the YouTube logo. This should do it. I just need to import allow URL. All right. Ambiguous indirect export. Okay. Moment of truth. All right, so that works. And if you send any random URL, I mean, technically this would work too, because I think this is on my allow list. That's my face. But if you did something like drop, and then you did like a markdown thing like this, that technically, well, it won't work because I was timed out over here. But yeah. What's up, the She-Boss? It's been too long. What we are making is this thing here, which I will show you now. Which it should work. Okay, so we made this little overlay. We realized Christmas is over, but I haven't streamed since like December 2nd. But this overlay allows you to, in both of the Twitch chat and the YouTube chat, to type !drop. If you do drop me, then your user image is going to fall from the sky as a snowflake. And if that snowflake lands on the tree, you'll get an ornament on the tree. And if you land on top of someone else, you'll potentially knock them off of the tree. And you'll get your name on the screen for a second. So this is what we were updating. We wrote this years ago, but we were fixing some issues to make it connect to my latest backend so that it can pull in Twitch messages. Is it a game or an animation? I mean, it's a game in the sense that everyone's trying to get onto the tree. You technically have no control. Like the amount of acceleration and your angle that you're coming in at is completely random. And it is presented to you as an animation. Wasn't there a derp me? No, I think that was on I forget their name stream. So someone created their own version of this as well. So first of all, let's give a quick history lesson. The original drop game comes from Instafluff. Shout out to Instafluff. Yes. Yes. His game studio, I think, is called Pixel Plush. Yeah. And so this was the original drop game. I originally saw it on his stream, and I was like, that's awesome. I want my own version of that. So I built my own version of it. But if you're a streamer and you want a drop game, you can just go here and just put in your username and add it as an overlay. It'll work. But I wanted my own custom version so that it would have seedlings. And then later, She-Boss! Thank you for the 5 gifted. I appreciate that. But I wanted my own version, so I made my own version. And then one year around Christmas time, we were like, we want to make a Christmas version where ornaments land on a tree, and so we made this version. And then there's little bugs like that, where like that ornament was moving too fast, so it didn't land on the tree, but it did knock off any ornaments that were in the way. Yeah. You'd have to look at the code for this Hushu. So we got a pull request a while back that did collisions. So that's why you see snowflakes bouncing off of each other. Someone submitted a PR that added that code, and I actually don't know. I think it probably has some code to check, like if it's not visible on the screen, then it shouldn't just go forever. But yeah. It should topple the tree if it hits the base. Yeah. Okay, but yeah, that's this game. So we fixed it. It's working. That's awesome. But we did get rated by Finite Singularity, and we want to check out what they were working on. So let's do that. Here it is. Yeah. So if you haven't checked out Finite Singularity Stream, you definitely should. He creates and has been creating like custom overlays and animations that happen in OBS, and so that's what he was working on today. Let's check it out. That's kind of amazing how seamless it is. Fascinating. But yeah, if you have, you should you should definitely check out his stream if you haven't. There's all kinds of cool stuff happening here, and then he has like cool little overlays and things that you can redeem. I mean, yeah, I don't have the sound on. Um, oh, he linked to like a specific section in the VOD. I see. No, I don't have any sound on that. My audio cable is not over here right now. But I don't know if he did it already, but eventually you'll be able to use his channel points to redeem this like transformation. Fascinating. Fascinating. Past the aux cord. Yeah. All right, let's take a quick break, and during our quick break, I am going to read from you from the book Computers, Computers, Computers in Fiction and in Verse, a collection by D. Van Tassel. It's a collection of several short stories published in 1977. My wife found this at the thrift store, and I thought it was awesome. So I'm gonna read you the first short story in here called Answer. So here we go. Um, it starts with a poem of sorts. I think this is, I don't know if it was written by the curator of the book, but the teacher's old influence fades, since teaching machines become aids, and kitties bring treats of apples and sweets to the robot computing the grades. All right, this short story is called Answer, and it's by Frederick Brown. And we'll see you later, Mark Boots. Thank you for hanging out. Frederick Brown died in 1972 after a most notable career in science fiction writing. Born in Cincinnati in 1906, he was educated at Hanover College, Indiana, then lived successfully in Milwaukee, New York City, and Taos, New Mexico. Starting out as a journalist and then a mystery writer, he won the Edgar Allan Poe Award for his first novel, The Fabulous Clip Joint, in 1947. Mr. Brown turned to science fiction in the late 1930s. He has written about 300 short stories in 28 novels, both mysteries and science fiction, which have been translated into every major European language and read throughout the world. Answer, the first story in the present anthology, is one of the most famous science fiction tales ever written. Here we go. Dwar Ev ceremoniously soldered the final connection with gold. The eyes of a dozen television cameras watched him, and the sub-ether bore through the universe a dozen pictures of what he was doing. He straightened and nodded to Dwar Ren, then moved to a position beside the switch that would complete the contact when he threw it. The switch that would connect, all at once, all of the monster computing machines of all the populated planets in the universe. 96 billion planets, into the super circuit that would connect them all into one super calculator, one cybernetics machine that would become all the knowledge of all the galaxies. Dwar Ren spoke briefly to the watching and listening trillions. Then after a moment's silence, he said, "Now, Dwar Ev." Dwar Ev threw the switch. There was a mighty hum, the surge of power from 96 billion planets. Lights flashed and quieted along the miles-long panel. Dwar Ev stepped back and drew a deep breath. "The honor of asking the first question is yours, Dwar Ren." "Thank you," said Dwar Ren. "It shall be a question which no single cybernetics machine has been able to answer." He turned to face the machine. "Is there a god?" The mighty voice answered without hesitation, without the clicking of a single relay. "Yes, now there is a god." Sudden fear flashed on the face of Dwar Ev. He leaped to grab the switch. A bolt of lightning from the cloudless sky struck him down and fused the switch shut. That's it. That's it. That's your short story. It's kind of foreboding, I guess. What's the potential outcome of connecting all consciousnesses and universes and such? Yeah. Computers. Yeah, it's kind of like fun function. I mean, I thought this was fascinating. This book is from 1977. It's actually in kind of it's in amazing condition. But yeah, it's various short stories of the sort. Yeah. What have you gotten into? What's up, Kappa? We were just reading a short story during our quick break. Oh, nice, SMC May. Good to see you. Awesome. So, what do we do now? I mean, we fixed most of the things, right? We fixed the drop game. We fixed the chat overlay. We fixed the alert overlay. Oh no, this is a Club Mate, uh, the drink of choice of hackers all over the world. It's just a carbonated yerba, lightly sweetened yerba mate beverage. Um, what else could we potentially do? I guess we could do Advent of Code. The thing is, I I stopped at like day 8. I get to a point almost every year in Advent of Code where I'm like, this is beyond my current abilities in programming, and if I want to be able to solve these, I have to learn a lot more. And that I think that happened exactly on day 8, which was in order to get the answer and not have your code compute forever, you had to use least common multiple and greatest common divisor. And I'm just not familiar with like how to apply that when solving problems. And so yeah, I basically I realized that I could learn it. I realized I could learn it. I could get better at these kinds of things. But it kind of like reaches my limit of algorithmic problem solving and also like some my limits of math. I technically have a minor in mathematics, but there's a lot that I forgot. Oh yeah, congrats, Anonymous Clover. You got the top. Kaika says we could talk about the stack in CJ's mind. It works beautifully. Well, does it? I don't know. I feel like I'm getting worse at remembering things lately. Don't know what it is. But I did see I tuned into Alka stream the other day. I didn't say anything in the chat, but I did see that all of a sudden these are like in a random order. Um and I wonder why. But yeah, I stopped at day 8 because it involved greatest common multiple, least common divisor. I don't think I'm gonna go past that. We could just do you go up and you go down. Like you do you not do them in order? America 2050 says, I did not understand the Advent of Code website. Is it just a me thing? I mean, it takes a little bit of figuring out. As someone much older, memory does get worse. Yeah. Um, you do them in number order. Okay, so yeah, I would go to 9. I wouldn't try to do these. I see. Yeah, I mean, basically you have to read every single page, and then everyone has a unique input. Like this is my unique input, and when I solve the problem, I pass this input into it. I'm gonna get a single answer. I plug that single answer in, but you can't cheat by just using my answer. You couldn't just put this answer in. It's not gonna work for you because your input is different. Yeah. Someone asked me that earlier, one line of me, but I am um I am proficient in using VS Code. I don't have a desire. I guess I'm at the limits of my proficiency. Like I don't feel like I need to be faster in VS Code. If I did feel like I needed to, like if I wasn't able to get the things done that I wanted to get done, I might try learning Vim or Emacs. But I am perfectly happy and content with my speed and abilities in VS Code. Uh, Day 1, Part 2 was the hardest I've seen in years. What the heck was that? Yeah, I think so it's actually super interesting because I uh when I was solving, I think I was solving was yeah, I was solving day 2, and the creator of Advent of Code showed up. And he was actually like watching my live stream. Um but because he was there, I asked him, I was like um did you do that on purpose? Like, was it hard on purpose? And he was like, no. He's like, he mentioned his wife solves these with Excel, and she was able to solve day one, part two. Um, and he was like, yeah, I just think a lot of people were overthinking it. But, um, yeah, his answer was like, yeah, I mean, he didn't mean for it to be that hard. Well, no, I only solved day one and day two on YouTube. This is the other aspect of advent of code is that I get obsessed and then I stay up really late. I get worse sleep, and then I spend less time with my wife because like starting at 10 p.m. my time, I'm just doing it. I get hyper focused on trying to solve these. So that's why I also like stopped after day 8. I was like, yeah, I'm not gonna stay up this late anymore, and I'm not gonna be obsessed with solving them. Obviously, I could do them more casually, but like one of the funnest parts is like trying to be at the top of at least my own leaderboard, um, which is impossible at this point because I stopped solving. But I like that, Alka. Yeah, like I guess if you're not competing for the top spot, then giving yourself an hour-long limit is probably the way to go. Garden of Code. We could try to come up with something. I think there are plenty of Advent of Code s things. There's like the TypeScript one. There's the Svelte one. But yeah. All right. I guess in the meantime, let's just kind of turn this into a Q&A stream. I am gonna take a quick 5-minute break, but when I come back, I will answer your questions. So in the chat, you can say ask, exclamation mark ask, followed by a question, and it should pop up over on this website. If it's not broken, great. It's not broken. Yeah. And then in 5 to 10 minutes, I'll come back and we can start answering questions. And I'll answer this one. How are you? All right. I'm doing okay. I mean, I've taken almost a month break from streaming, and before that was like 2 months break, but I'm going to try to get more regular about it, getting back into it. That's the plan anyways. All right. I will leave you with a YouTube video of me, and I'm going to take a, however long this video is, break. Yeah, we'll do a 7-minute break. This is the one. I need to go grab my audio cable too. But quick break. We'll see you in 8 minutes or so. Hello friends, welcome to Coding Garden. In this video, I'm going to solve as many 7Q code katas as possible in 7 minutes and 77 seconds. Here we go. The first one is head, tail, init, and last. So this says, Haskell has some useful functions for dealing with lists. Your job is to implement these functions in your given language. Make sure it doesn't edit the array. That would cause problems. Here's a cheat sheet. I mean, basically, it's just like head, tail. Let's see. Let's go. Implement the functions. So it literally wants these functions to exist. So head is a function that takes in an array. Let's call it list. And we just need to return list at 0. So the first thing in the list. Is that what it's expecting? Yeah, that should be it. All right. And then tail, it wants everything in the list except for the first one. So there's a built-in function in arrays in JavaScript called slice. And that creates a copy starting at the given index. So that would do that. And then init wants everything except the last value. So again, slice would work from 0 to the list length minus 1. Length minus 1 minus 2 would be init. And then last just returns the last one in the array. So there is this new function. I don't know if we have access to it. At -1. I don't think we have access to it. Well, we're in node 18. Let's try it. Okay. Expected 9 to deeply equal 1, 5, and 7. Init failed. Expected 46. I want slice. Slice starts. What? Oh, I called it init again. Well, we should call that last. Let's try again. All right. I guess we only want length minus 1, not length minus 2. Nice. Okay. I got really perplexed there. That took us a little over a minute to complete. We got to pick up speed here. All right, this next one, digits explosion. Given a string made of digits 0 through 9, return a string where each digit is repeated a number of times equal to its value. Okay, I can do that. Here we go. So it's a string. Is it a string? Yeah, we take in a string and then split. Okay, so here's what we need to do. We want to say take that, split it on the empty string, and then I guess we'll do it with a reduce. So we have the result, and then we have each individual char or character, and we'll start off on the empty string, and then we'll return result plus the current character as a number. So if you do, I think there's a built-in repeat on strings, and if we turn it into a number like that, easy, done. Yes, okay, let's keep moving. Next one is love versus friendship. If A equals 1 and B equals 2 and C equals 3, then love is 54. Okay, so we need to sum up all the characters, but A is 1 and then Z is 26. So real quick, if we use char code at, that gives us that. So if I do any letter minus 96, well, 2 lowercase minus 96 is going to give us a value 1 through 26, like this. Okay, so that's what I need to use. And so we can split it, map it. So take the string. I don't like that they called it string, but that's okay. Split it, and then we're going to reduce it to get the total sum, and we get each character. And now we're going to start with the sum of 0, and we want to return the sum plus that character 2 lowercase minus 90. This whole thing should be in parentheses because we're trying to find the value of it. That's it. Here we go. Nice. Okay. Next one, my language skills. You're given a dictionary hash object containing some languages in your test results in the given languages. Return the list of languages where your test score is at least 60. Here we go. So we have an object with a bunch of stuffs in it like this. We want to return any of them which are greater than 60, and we return a list of them. So let's actually do object.entries on here on the results. So that should give us an array of arrays, and we can filter that where each language and score. So we'll have language comma score, and we want where each score is at least 60. So greater than or equal to 60. And so this filter is going to give us the entries, but we actually only want the languages themselves. So we're going to map that to give us the lang like this, and that should do it. Okay, expected Hindi, Greek, and Dutch to deeply equal Dutch, Greek, and Hindi. No, they have to be in what order do they have to be in? The scores will always be unique. Oh, in descending order of the scores. Okay, so we actually need to sort it before we map it. So we're going to sort. We have A and then B, and we'll do A minus B like this. We might have to do B minus A. Yeah, so we'll have to do B minus A. All right, we have a minute and 48. I think this is going to do it. Yes, we got it. Awesome. Minute and 48 to do a few more. So build a square is the next one. I'll give you an integer. Give me back a shape with it as long as it and as wide as the integer. So 3. We get 3. We need to create a shape with that. Okay, so we're returning a list separated by new lines. Okay, so here's what we'll do. We'll take the number, turn it into an array. So this is going to give us an array of that length. And so for each one, we need to repeat the value. So for each one, we'll say we take the plus sign and then repeat it integer times. That's going to give us an array with a bunch of stuff in it, and then we join it all together on the new line like that. With the other way, like that. Right? Yes, okay. We have 38 seconds. We can do one more. Alphabet war. There's a war. There's too many words. Z, right side wins. Write a function that accepts fight. There's too many instructions. I can't figure this out. Write a function that accepts fight string consists of only small letters and returns who wins the fight. Yeah, no, I got caught up on this. I can't even think straight as to what this is asking me to do. That's it. That's it. That all. So we did five. We did 5 in 7 minutes 77 seconds. Yeah, that's all. Thank you for watching this. If you found other possible solutions to the ones that I solved here, feel free to throw it in the comments. I'll also add the caveat that yes, I know these are 7Qs and these are fairly easy. That's why I was able to do so many in this time frame. If these did not seem easy to you, that's also okay. You can go to codewars.com to practice, and you probably want to start at like 8Q to make sure you can get those down before you start on the 7Qs. Thank you for watching this. Definitely check out coding.garden to find all my links and learn about all my stuffs. I'm live right now on Twitch. If you visit twitch.tv/codinggarden, you can watch live as well. And a quick plug for my React Roots course. So this is a course I recently launched that teaches the basics of building modern single-page web applications with React and TypeScript. And if you check out reactroots.com, you can learn more. All right, see you in the next. Hello, welcome back. If you if you didn't realize, that was a video. If you want to go watch that video, it's over here. Hopefully you enjoyed that. Now we're gonna do our best to answer some questions. Let me update my title. We're just gonna chill, answer some code questions. Yeah. What's up, Ucha? Good to see you. Who? So I have not used Elixir. But if you would like to ask a question, do !ask followed by your question. It'll show up on this website. And I'll do my best to answer it. And you should use !ask just so we don't lose your question in the chat. There's all the links. You can also upvote existing questions. So if you see a question that you like, !upvote followed by the number you see here on the website. And that'll upvote it. Let's go. Yeah, this is the same question from Make It Pie. So now I've seen Elixir Lang, but I have not used it. As far as I remember, it is a functional programming language. If I were them, I would not make this the first code that people see. Maybe if you're into functional programming languages, you see this and you're like, oh yeah, I see this and I'm like, what is happening? Yeah, you can ask questions over on YouTube as well. The commands work on both sides. Honestly, this is something that I potentially might try to turn into software as a service, because I think a lot of streamers that are doing like cross streaming could benefit from something like this that holds questions and such for people. But yeah, so impressions, I'd have to spend some time with it. Probably like functional programming languages like Haskell and Elixir and like Lisp and stuff like that are beyond my current capabilities or even like what I've tried before. So it takes some time for me to figure those things out. Q1 Joe says, working on RabbitMQ today, which is built on Elixir. Fascinating. But I guess, do you have to write Elixir to work in it? Or do they have their own like scripting language? Or I guess they have client libraries that are like in any other language. Yeah, so the She-Boss is asking, how does Twitch Turbo affect streamers? I have it, so I canceled all of my subscriptions, but I will keep giving you Prime if it will help. As far as I know, there's like some ad revenue split. Yeah, let's see what Alka is saying here. Oh, okay, so these are your analytics, Alka. And this is telling you anybody that has Turbo that's watching, you're actually getting ad revenue from them. Yeah. Oh, good call, SMC May. I am live. Yeah, so apparently, if you have Turbo, the streamer still gets revenue as if you were viewing ads. But the Prime always helps because that's extra money too. So if you're not giving your Prime to anyone else, the Shivas, I will gladly take it, of course. But yeah, if you have Turbo, the view, I don't know if people are getting as much as if you were to subscribe to them, but they are still getting some. Yeah. All right. One line of me asks, "Will AI replace CJ in 2024, producing high quality content every day for us to consume?" I don't know. I should work some ways into my workflow that allow me to produce content more consistently, or even like extracting content from live streams to be YouTube Shorts or YouTube videos, that kind of thing. I need to figure some things out. AI is not going to do it automatically. I'm going to have to write the AI to do it. Yeah. I think Prime subs, the amount you get varies depending on where the user is, like what country they live in. But it's roughly the same as someone buying a tier 1 subscription as well. I think I would put it lower than tier 1 only because in some countries you do get like the streamer gets less money depending on where you're subbing from. Wucha asks, "Where can I publish my Node.js project for free so someone can test it?" NPM. Yeah, that's the way to do it. Let's show an example of that. Yeah, let's show an example of that. And we talked about this earlier because I talked about how there is technical debt in a lot of my projects because I have code that I literally just copy paste. And thank you, Alka. Thank you for the tier 1. Did I know that sub and gift subs are 25% off? Well, I didn't, Alka. That's great. If anybody wants to sub, you can save some money today. Yeah, but I have some code that I'm using in multiple projects, right? So right now I have multiple things running on my screen that are separate code bases. So I have this overlay here. I have the seedling drop game, and then there's also alerts that happen whenever someone subs or gives bits or whatever. And they need to do similar things. One of those things that they do is parse emotes. So a message might have emotes in it, like Twitch global emotes or better Twitch TV emotes or 7TV emotes. And if they do, I need to parse them. And that parsing code is potentially reusable. So I think we'll try to create a library and publish it that way. But there are other ways. You don't necessarily have to publish to NPM. It's also possible for someone to install your library even if it's on GitHub. So I can show you that as well. So what's the hierarchy? USA 1, Prime 2. Oh, in terms of like how much the revenue is? I mean, I don't know all the details. I think the US probably does give the biggest cut of, because Twitch does like pricing parity where like a tier 1 sub is cheaper in some countries. And so by the nature of that, the streamer is going to get less money from that tier 1 sub. Yeah. What is the hottest tech in my opinion right now? Is there a specific language or tech that we'd like to dive in? It's hard to define hottest. Like what are most people talking about? I mean, probably anything AI related would be the hottest thing right now. I am getting more and more of the opinion that I just want to use what I know and use what works and stop spending all my time trying to stay super up to. Obviously, I want to be fairly up to date on at least like web tech, but I don't want to be chasing every trend that comes through. So yeah, in terms of specific tech I want to dive into, I want to get back into Nuxt. So when we were trying Nuxt like a year and a half ago, or maybe even at least a year ago, we were trying Nuxt. It was still Nuxt 3 was still very new, but it's had enough time for the ecosystem to develop and mature, and so I want to give Nuxt a try again. What's up, Oscar? It's been a long time. That's the thing I'm excited to try. And so Nuxt is like server-side rendering with Vue.js, hybrid rendering with Vue.js, similar to Next.js with React, but Nuxt is like the Vue version of that. So That's what I wanna try. What other languages do I like besides JavaScript? I spent 3.5 years writing C# and .NET professionally, so I do like C#. I guess because I used it a lot. These days, I write almost everything with JavaScript and TypeScript just because I can, and just because it's what I'm most proficient with, and it runs everywhere. So that's why I like JavaScript the most. But if I had to choose something else, like if you asked me right now, build something with .NET, or so build a backend API, and you can't use JavaScript, I would pick .NET C#. So when I was working professionally, we were using .NET, the framework. This was before it got open sourced and cross-platformed. But these days, if you write, well, actually, it's not even, the thing is, it's not even called .NET Core anymore. They changed the name to be all encompassing, because it used to be that .NET Core was like specific, like a subset, but now it's like the whole thing, and it runs cross-platform. Yeah, so formerly .NET Core, .NET is an open source platform, software platform framework, and then it's actually very confusing if you look at their version history. But yeah, that's what I would do. Yeah. If you asked a question, type !mark here and it'll bubble up. Yeah. First coding language I'd recommend to learn. I am biased because I use web development technologies regularly, and that's a lot of what I do here on Coding Garden. So that would be my suggestion. I have a more nuanced answer over on YouTube. If you check out this video, learn this programming language first. And I talk about why I think web development languages like HTML, CSS, and JavaScript are a good place to start. But this is a loaded question because there are other things you need to take into account when you're choosing a programming language. Because if you want to build games, you could build games with web technologies, but it's probably not the best thing to choose. There are game frameworks and languages that are heavily used in game development that you would probably want to learn instead. So in this video, I kind of talk about what are all the things that could motivate you to want to code. Like, do you want to get a job? Do you want to make games? Do you want to impress somebody? Do you have $1 billion idea? Do you want to be a hacker? Every one of those questions is going to have a potentially different answer as to what your first language should be. So yeah, check this video out. I would say, especially if you're new to everything, don't spend too much time trying to pick something. Like, pick something and go with it, because you are going to be learning if you choose this as something you want to do either as a hobby or as a career, you're going to be learning for the rest of your life. It's not, programming and software development isn't just learn one thing and then use it forever. Things are constantly changing, and you're constantly trying to do things that you haven't done before, so you have to learn those things as well. So my advice is to just maybe spend an hour doing some research and then just start learning, start building things. Because that's really the only way you're going to learn is by actually using it and building it. Yeah. Don't wait for the perfect thing. Just pick something and go with it. And because that's another piece of advice. Is like any successful programmer or coder you see has had so much practice building and trying things. And yeah. All right, let's keep going. Opinion on HTMX. It seems fine. I'm still. If you want to do server-side rendering, like if you want to write less JavaScript on the client side, this seems fine. I still haven't been convinced that we should go back to server-side rendering in this way. I still like to build like completely client apps. So yeah. Have I heard of TLA Plus? Many experienced programmers said it's the best way to excel in programming. Never heard of it. Let's look at it. High-level language for modeling programs and systems, especially concurrent and distributed ones. I have never heard of it. Yeah, I don't know. Well, yeah, I mean, I think the thing is like this can actually get into more of just like a political answer, or even just like a bit of a hot take that it's like uh Next.js is owned by Vercel, and it is in Vercel's best interest for you to pay for and use their serverless platform. And if you choose Next.js, you're kind of choosing to deploy to Vercel. Now there are solutions and there are ways to write Next.js that doesn't necessarily run on Vercel, but it comes from Vercel and is really meant to run on Vercel from the beginning. so it's kind of like a marketing move, and it's in Vercel's best interest to push server-side rendering and serverless functions, because they own a company and they're trying to do such and such. And so like, I mean, the more, I guess the more nuanced answer here is like, if you get into serving things up with serverless, is you no longer have to worry about headroom for requests, because now you just spin up a bunch of serverless functions and you can handle as many requests as possible, and you don't necessarily have to worry about a single server getting bogged down as much. It's like flipping the problem. But yeah. Yeah, and so I mean, there's a lot of nuance to that, because yes, to give the end user everything in a single request, initially that's going to be a lot faster, yes. But a lot of times the user will visit your client app once and will download all of the JavaScript they need and everything for that one client app one time, and all of that will be cached. And then after that, all of the requests are just for JSON data. You're no longer sending HTML. So like there are trade-offs to that, right? You have this longer initial load time, but a lot of times that's okay, because the kind of apps that you're building, people might expect that, right? They expect that, all right, I have to wait a second, but once the page is interactive, I'm not going to have to wait anymore. And I mean, this is a single page application. You see like there's a split second and then it requests all the data from the backend, but it's very likely that all of the client code, all of the JavaScript, the HTML, everything is cached. So the web browser literally it can load it almost instantly, and then it makes the request to the backend to get the data to display. And Mr. Dev King, thank you for the Prime. Appreciate that. I don't know. So yeah, I had not heard of TLA Plus. I guess I can't really tell what it really is, even by, I guess I'd have to look a bit deeper.
This is the first video of the TLA Plus video course. Each video in the course is meant to be viewed in conjunction with a web page, be used by engineers. What kind of clown am I? I understand. No official high system. Assignment of values are 3. Okay, how do we describe this tiny other part of the
Yeah, this guy is great. I like him a lot. I mean, I'd have to. I haven't heard of it, and I would have to learn more about it. Seems interesting though. Thanks for mentioning it. Why is Next.js only for Vercel? Can't you just containerize the application in a node and Docker image? You can, but it's typically there's a bunch of extra stuff involved and like built into Next.js that how do I want to say this? Where your Next.js app believes that it is running as a serverless function and has access to various things that are only accessible on Vercel. Now, like I said, there are ways to run it on AWS, or there are ways to run Next.js like on your own Node.js server, but it's those solutions aren't coming from the core team. People have created third-party solutions that would allow you to do it. So just contain like I don't know enough to talk about it in detail, but I do know that just putting a Next.js app in a Docker container isn't enough, and you're going to run into issues when you try to use various like caching functions or different things like that. So yeah. Thanks for your question though. I can't talk specific. I guess I don't know enough to talk specifically about what the main differences are. Muhammad asks, what is the most used programming language today? Oh yeah, if you want to reply to a question, you can do comment and it'll show up right underneath. I would think that it's JavaScript because JavaScript runs in so many places. But it probably is in close competition with Java and PHP and Python. Yeah. So Stack Scale has the most. This is from 2022. PHP, because a lot of websites are built on top of WordPress, and WordPress is built with PHP. So yeah, Stack Overflow's developer survey for 2023. Why are these languages stacked like that? I don't get it. Oh, I see. This is some other ranking scale. But Stack Overflow ranked JavaScript as the #1 language. Then HTML, CSS, then Python, then SQL, then TypeScript. PHP. Why is PHP not even on Stack Overflow's list? Yeah, but you typically see like C# and Java in enterprise or like larger companies. Though these days, startups might also choose like C# and .NET since they're doing more like open source things and they run cross-platform. So yeah. And ThinkBot Lab says Golang for work, C# for Unity, game dev for me. Yeah, and I just do a lot of things with JavaScript. And good to see you. Yeah, welcome in. Yeah, I mean, I think anything involved with research is like high in the list. So R is it's like a scientific computing language or like a data science language. So yeah, one of my first jobs was taking some MATLAB code that researchers had written and then rewriting it in C# to make it more like to make it run on a backend server in production. But MATLAB I think is comparable to R, and like a lot of researchers use that. So there's a lot of programming languages. JavaScript I do think is still probably the most used. Is the universe truly infinite, and why? I don't have a good answer for this. I feel like yeah, I don't know. I don't know enough about astronomy, cosmology to give a good answer to this. Like, I think a lot of science believes that the universe is expanding. But the question here is like, is there an end to that universe? Like, can we actually reach the end of it? Is it finite? And I don't know. I don't know what modern science says about that. Yeah. All right. California says, ever considered taking your web dev knowledge and doing some security CTF type stuff like try Hack Me, Hack the Box, or OWASP Juice Shop? Exploiting issues and showing how they can be fixed. I've done Juice Shop on stream before. Oh no, did I? No, I used NodeGoat, which I think is like a little bit worse than Juice Shop. Uh, this one. So this is like a vulnerable Node.js app. And it has bugs in it that you can fix. And I looked at Juice Shop, but I haven't done Juice Shop before. Um, this would be fun to do because I've only done this in passing. I've done like maybe 1 or 2 streams where I talk about Node.js security stuff. It would be fun to do these on stream. So I have thought about it. It's just not on the list of things to come or anything like that. I want to learn how to code a trading bot. Um, I don't know where to start, but I did sort of look into this a while back, and I believe there's like is it called like the Llama API or Alpaca? Maybe it's not Alpaca. Um, there's one specific Alpaca markets. Yeah, there's probably other ones, but when I was doing research into how to build a stock trading app, Alpaca is the one that came up because they have like an actual API you can use to integrate with, and they also have like a sandbox so you can do like sandbox trading and stuff like that. So check this out, but also look into other ones. And I've never done anything like that, so yeah. Have I ever played a real capture the flag? No, I haven't. I've been to DEF CON and I've sat in the same room as people that were doing it, but I haven't done it myself. Yeah. I don't think it is One Line of Me. I think it's a new thing. Yeah, and then we when we were building this overlay, people tried to hack it all the time. People found some vulnerabilities. We slowly just start to lock things down because you technically can do things like this, and it will show up. Yeah, like that. Like this. Um and then yeah, like if you try to embed images or like do weird things, we kill the fun, as Oscar is saying. I will say though, if you really want to try to like pen test it, the code is open source. Um, what is this called? Yeah, it's SproutKit. It's honestly kind of difficult to even get running locally, but um, you can check it out there. I will say we are using DOM Purify, so um, if it's blocked by DOM Purify, we're probably gonna block anything that's happening. I say that because there's like 1 or 2 scenarios where like you can, I think as a trusted user, like a VIP or a mod, you can kind of go outside of what DOM Purify is doing. Yeah. All right. Let me get through these other 2 and then let's show how to publish a Node.js package. Guj Propful is asking how is Panzer doing? He's great, and I want to show you the Christmas photos that he took. Yeah, you can do an input too, which is funny. Because Panzer took some amazing Christmas photos. If you do !ask, it'll show up on the question website. This is my dog. He is all mine. He's amazing, and he's very photogenic. So we actually took Christmas photos, me and my wife and our dog, and we got to walk him to the back of a JC Penney. There's more though. There's more. Let's see. So yeah, look at that beautiful boy. He's even got his own barrel. Yeah, this one. He's looking off in the distance like they want you to do in photos and stuff. Like he's amazing. He's amazing. Um, yeah, and then we sent out Christmas cards, so they had like various photos of us and the dog. Look how photogenic this boy is. Look at him. He's on Instagram too if you want to follow him. Pig the Saint on Instagram. Yeah, I think my wife posted like one video a day from the photo shoot. The one with the laser grid? What do you mean? um, yeah. Oh wait, is this a radio select? Nice. That's really funny. This a Oh, a color picker. Wow. Is this a progress bar? So yeah, there are some elements that are still allowed in here. So yeah, Panzer's doing great. He's gonna turn 8 years old in February. He's 7 right now, and he's super healthy. He's beautiful. Yeah, it's good stuff. Okay. I don't know if you answered my question because I left. Should I use Next.js to allow the application to be indexed by Google? Oh, I mean that's one consideration when doing or using server-side rendering, which is if you have server-side rendering, then a page that is loaded by a search bot, like a crawler bot, will have the content in it displayed sooner. However, it's not required because search engine crawlers do run JavaScript. So if you search the web for Coding Garden, look at this. It has the content, right? So it knows what text is on that page, and it knows what links are on that page. This is a completely client-side app. Actually, now that I think about it, no, we technically pre-rendered it with SvelteKit. It used to be a completely client-side app where if you looked at the source code, you would only see JavaScript. You wouldn't see any HTML elements. And Google still indexed our page, so it's not necessarily required. I think if you run into scenarios where the page takes longer to load because there's some JavaScript that needs to like load data and stuff like that, you might be less likely to have your content listed in search, and the result might be lower because it's like slower to load the page. But search engines, including DuckDuckGo and Google, do run JavaScript on the page, so you don't necessarily need server-side rendering. Server-side rendering helps because the page possibly loads faster, and the search engine isn't going to have to run JavaScript on the page to see the content. Yeah. How do I have that good of a SEO? I'm the only thing called Coding Garden. And I've been doing this since 2017. So it's funny that they index this, though. Why do they index that? Yeah, it should be the same thing over on Google, too. I mean, honestly, it's kind of amazing. I am the only result for Coding Garden. Oh, wow, you can find my LinkedIn. Fascinating. So yeah, it's not required, but it helps. But it's not required. It's not required. All right. Any comments about the current job market for web devs? I know it's horrible right now. I know a lot of people that lost their job or are searching and like still haven't found something. It's bad. It's bad. I think for more mid to senior devs, it's not as bad. But for junior devs or someone that just graduated a coding boot camp or code school, I know it's bad. So I don't have any comments about it. Just that it's bad. All right, we'll answer this and then we'll show how to publish something to NPM. Do I have any advice for a complete novice looking to get into development? Anything, game, web, not trying to close any doors, for starting to learn a language. I have ADHD and struggle without a more structured environment until I can start to work on projects. Yeah, I don't know if you saw my answer a minute ago when I was talking about like what your first language should be, but I do have this YouTube video that talks about what your first programming language should be, and also like what to consider when choosing your first programming language. Um, and what you choose will change or vary what um, uh, you use to learn. But I will say, if you decide that you want to learn web development, there are a few really good structured resources out there. Free Code Camp is one of them. You can sign up on freecodecamp.org and then just start learning. And they have this curriculum that kind of just lays it all out for you. You could start at the beginning and just go through this, and you will learn how to build websites. And really, if you go through all of this and actually build the projects and attempt to learn everything, don't just rush through it. By at least by here, you'll be employable in some capacity. Like you will have skills to get a job by at least be doing these 3 modules. And then the other ones are additional as well. But it's completely structured though. So it starts you off with learning HTML, CSS, and then getting into JavaScript. So this section here, algorithms and data structures, it's called algorithms and data structures, but it also teaches you how to program. You shouldn't let that scare you away, because it teaches you JavaScript, teaches you how to use JavaScript in the web browser, and then gets into more like complex stuff. So like this is very structured if you want to learn web dev. And then there's also the Odin project. What are you doing, Cinnamon? You're adding a link. I think I honestly, I want to click this because I do think, yeah, I stop navigation, or at least, yeah. So I make it so that if I click a link, it runs it through this little proxy first, so like it doesn't automatically open that up. And then I have some code that says open it in the external web browser, but this allows me to like preview it via this thing, which scrapes the data before I actually get into it. Yeah, you're welcome, Punky Chip. So yeah, but the Odin project is a little less hand-holdy. Like it doesn't hold your hand as much. However, I think it's better to get into it's better to get used to kind of like figuring things out on your own and having to read a lot of like text on a page. Because I know with ADHD, it's harder to focus, or even like if you come across an article like this, it kind of like seems pretty daunting. But the thing is, once you get into programming and once you start to get into the career, you have to read documentation like this in order to learn other things. So the Odin project is just a lot. It's a lot of text, but it's really, and it's on you to like learn the thing. So for instance, if you look at the, let's see, like if we look at the learning HTML and CSS lesson, it has some text here, and then it has an assignment, but it doesn't have anywhere for you to submit. It just says do this assignment. So it's kind of up to you to have the responsibility to actually do the thing. And then also like in the knowledge check section, it's up to you to make sure that you can answer these questions, and you kind of have to self-assess. I will say that if big blocks of text like this are daunting to you, one thing you can do is get a browser extension that reads the web page for you, like as audio. Somebody mentioned that on one of my recent videos. I think it's called like Speechify or something like that. Speechify, yeah, that's exactly what it is. But yeah, somebody mentioned they're like, yeah, it's really hard for me to read big blocks of text. So there are tools like this which uses like a fairly natural sounding voice to read the page to you. So that might help as well if you have trouble focusing on like big blocks of text. Use an extension like that so that you can follow along, but also like it's reading to you at the same time. But yeah, check out the Odin project. And I would say there are 2 paths: full stack JavaScript, full stack Ruby on Rails. I'd probably go with this one because this teaches you about like front end and back end like with JavaScript, whereas Ruby on Rails, Ruby is a different back end language, but you would still have to learn a little bit of JavaScript for the front end. But if you do this, then you use the same language on both the front end and the back end. Yeah. What's up, Excellent? I'm doing good. I'm doing all right. But yeah, thank you for your question. Let's publish a project to npm. I'll show you how to do that. I don't think I'm gonna dye my hair anytime soon. Last time I dyed my hair green, I had to bleach it first, and that really really killed my my hair. It was like fried. If you look at some of my older videos where my hair is green, let's see. Almost there. Yeah, at this point you can see my hair is growing out. It's like green on top. Um, Hello. My hair was very green back then. I don't think I'm gonna do it again anytime soon. And I have not heard of SurrealDB. Multi-model database. Yeah, haven't heard of it. All right, let's talk about publishing to npm, or just publishing a project in general. Same cut without the color. I might go back to it. It makes it really easy to manage my hair. Because if I always have the sides shaved, like I don't really ever have to worry about like a haircut or anything because I can just shave the sides. Yeah, what's up, Warner? We've been working on a lot of things. So today we fixed my overlay. This is like a custom app I built to show both combined Twitch chat and YouTube chat. And it had issues showing 7TV emotes, like this one. I think that's a 7TV. Yeah, but we fixed it. So now it shows emotes. And then also we fixed my overlay game. So this is a game people can play while you're watching. If you do !drop me, your avatar will fly from the sky as a snowflake like that. And if it lands on the tree, you'll get a little ornament on the tree. So we fixed that earlier. And then also my stream alerts were broken, so we fixed those too. And then right now I'm just answering questions. So good to see you, Warner. Thank you for being here. And the things we do vary. Sometimes I'm solving algorithmic problems. Sometimes I'm building things. Today was more of like a maintenance stream where I'm just fixing all the things that like broke because I haven't touched them in a long time. Yeah, good job, the young squire, right at the top. Oh, he got knocked off. That sucks. Yeah, and the thing is, if the snowflake is traveling too fast, it won't latch on to the Christmas tree. Yeah. Okay. But what we're doing right now is answering this question that came from Wucha, which is, where can I publish my node project for free so someone can test it? Let's talk about it. So, first of all, you can publish to npm. So npm is the main package registry for JavaScript projects. So for example, if you've heard of the library React.js, it is published here to npm. So when developers want to use React in their project, they install it from here. A developer is going to run this command and actually is going to download the library from npmjs.com. And this is the main place that people publish packages. And literally anyone can publish a package. It's a completely open place to publish packages too. I have packages here too. I have one called Create Express API. this one. Actually, I mean, you could look through my account. I have a bunch of random stuff that I published to npm. Some of it's useful, some of it still gets used. Yeah, I mean, this is cool. 71 people a week still use my Create Express API. But basically, I wrote this code, and then I ran a command to push a version of it up to npm, and now anyone can use this command that I created. And you can too. If you look in their docs, they have all kinds of info on how to publish. Yeah, contributing packages to the registry. And it talks about everything that you'd need. And one of the things to take into account, though, is semantic versioning. So I think I'll talk about that a little bit. But yeah, this is probably the main way to put a package out there on the internet that anyone can use. But one thing to consider when you're doing this is versioning. So when someone does an install of your package, they're going to get the latest version, the latest stable version that is published. But when you publish a new version, there are things you can do that basically make it so that you can tell the end user, hey, I'm introducing breaking changes, or hey, there are bug fixes in here, or different kinds of things like that. And that comes down to semantic versioning, which you can learn more about here, semver.org. And so when you see a package that follows semantic versioning, this is what it means. The first number is a major version number. So let's say we're looking at a package that is version 2.0.0. 2 is the major version. The first number here is the minor version. And the last one is patch. And the way that these are used in projects that are using semantic versioning is the first number, if this number ever increases, so if this goes to 3, that means breaking changes have been introduced. And if you install version 3, you're potentially going to have to fix your code to work with the latest version of the code. And so that's kind of how you communicate that to developers is, hey, you can stay on version 2 and any number, if any one of these numbers changes, you should be fine. You can update. But if we update our package to the next major version number, you can expect breaking changes. The next number is the minor version. And this is typically reserved for new features. So if a library gets like new functions added or new things that it didn't have before, typically this number will be increased. But because it's not the major version number, that means there's no breaking changes. You're just getting new features if that number increases. And then the last one is for bug fixes, or it's called patch. So if this number changes, then that means you fixed a bug, but it's still on version 2, so anybody can trust that. And that's a good point to bring up. If you see a package that is below version 1.0, all bets are off. They are not following, at least they have not released a major version yet. So you cannot trust that there will be or won't be breaking changes. The thing that comes to mind is auth.js, because we were using that in our backend. Auth.js core. We'll follow the link from their website. Wait, this links to NextAuth. Have they been combined? That's not real. Yeah, okay, here it is, auth core. As you can see, this package is at 0.19.0. And there's a thing that they follow that if a package has not released version 1.0 yet, that means you basically can always expect breaking changes no matter what, because they haven't reached the first version. It's basically still in beta or alpha, or it's early days. And because this library is early days, they haven't set a version 1.0 yet. And the idea there is like, if you're a package author, you may not want to commit to no breaking changes yet, because you're still defining the API. You're still figuring out what your libraries is doing and what it can do. So you don't want to set this to version 1 just yet. And then when you set it to version 1, if you're following semantic versioning, now you're like, all right, we're not going to introduce any breaking changes. If we do, we change the number, etc. But those are some things to consider, because when you are publishing a package, the package.json has to have a version number inside of it. And so your local package is going to have a package.json, and you're going to specify the version number in there. And that's the version that's going to be listed on NPM. Yeah. What are the devs doing? They're doing their best. I mean, we're using this in our listed project, and it's fine. I mean, almost every time they change the number, though, there's a slight breaking change that we have to fix. But yeah, well, I appreciate that, Warner. You're kind. Thank you. But yeah, we put up with it. I don't know. But yeah, so if we just want to see a good example of this, we can look at the history of like the React version number in here. So if you look at they have 1,500 different versions, and you can see, like, the other thing you'll hear about is RC. RC is release candidate, which means, excuse me, it's about to be stable, but it's not stable just yet. So like release candidate 1, release candidate 2, release candidate 3, people are previewing it before it's like the final version of the project. But if you click on versions here, you can see every version. And there's a ton, like these are like probably automated builds that get pushed out when like new stuff gets merged into the main React code base. You can see like 8 years ago, React version 15 came out, and then they just started slowly incrementing these other two numbers. So this last number got increased when they fixed a bug. This number got increased when they introduced a new feature. And then finally React 16 came out, and you can see 16 was in alpha first, and then probably eventually 16 went into beta, and then 16 went into release candidate, and then finally version 16 got released at this point. But then after it got released, they slowly realized, oh, well, we have bugs. So like they released some fixes. Then we're at 16.2. You can also see that there are releases for the previous version as well, because like, let's say somebody was using version 15 of React and they're not ready to upgrade to 16 yet. They don't want to update their entire code base to fix the potential breaking changes if they upgrade to 16. They might want to stay on 15 for a while, and they might still want any bug fixes that come across. So a lot of times packages are kind of maintaining multiple major version numbers at a time. So like, even though version 16 came out, they still released 15.6.2 kind of at the same time, that had some of the bug fixes but doesn't have the breaking changes. And then eventually 15 gets deprecated entirely, and they expect people to only be like on version 16. And then we get into 17, 18, etc. So that's a lot. The thing to consider is read about semantic versioning. If you're going to be publishing something, you should probably follow it. All right. Let's publish a quick package just so I can show you how to do it. Cinnamon's trying really hard. Cinnamon, what are you doing? That's pretty good. Like I said, though, we're using DOM Purify, so I think like I think those are caught by DOM Purify. I don't think I'm ready to make my package that parses emotes. What kind of package can we create? Here's what we're going to do. It's going to be useless. We're going to create a package called say happy holidays. Oh, is it Cinnamon? I haven't updated in a while. Okay, you could be onto something then. Let's see. The thing is, it's also possible that the version on GitHub is not the latest version. Yeah, we're on 2.4 of DOM Purify. And they're on version 3. There's been a major version bump. When did this happen? 10 months ago? That's why I just want to scrap this whole project. Like, almost everything I have needs to be rewritten. Cool. So you're testing out those CVEs? Great. Great. I probably should just upgrade DOM Purify. But if you find something, I might give you VIP. Maybe. I don't know if I've even seen you on the channel before, but regardless, thanks for uh, thanks for trying. Okay, let's make a let's make a package. It's gonna be called Say Happy Holidays. How do you spell holidays? That seems right. Okay, so let's say I have this directory, and let's say I write some code. For now, it's going to be super simple. It's just going to be an index.js file that just logs to the console. Happy holidays. Like that. Hollandaise? Actually, no, this would be really fun. Let's create a list of greetings, and we'll pick a random one. So, like, happy holidays. Merry Chrysler. Happy Crisis. Happy Hollandaise. Happy Honda Days. Feliz Navidad. Oh, Natal. What does that mean? Well, now we're gonna be like a internationalized one. All right. So we have a greeting, and we're just going to log a random one. Actually, we'll export a function. So we'll, yeah. So we'll say export default greet, and this will just return a random one, from there. All right, we're gonna do a default export here. Okay, and then we just do math.random times greetings.length. And we math.floor that whole thing. And so that'll give us a random greeting. Great. We'll do this too. What language is this? So yeah, we have a function. It grabs a random greeting and then returns it. Let's also make a function that also logs it to the console. So in this case, we'll say happy holidays to get one, and then we'll log it like that. We won't return it. Okay, so we have these two functions that we want to make available. The first thing I need in my little project here that I want to share with people is a package.json. So I'm going to init this to create a package.json. And this is where I can put all of my info. So first of all, we have our package name. We have our version. We're going to start at version 1. We'll give it a description. And then if we have a README, this will be what is displayed on npm when we publish this thing. There are a couple of things on here there. So main will be what is the main file that people will need to import. Well, that people want to import when they're running your package. And in our case, it is index.js. But if you had like a nested folder structure, you would want to update main to be the entry point of whatever you're trying to publish. We'll do a quick example of how to use our library. In this case, we would do import happy holidays and say happy holidays from say happy holidays. like this. And it would work like this. And then this logs to console. Returns a random greeting. Do we need files? I don't know if I do. But the README just has an example of how people can use the project. And then the one thing you also want to take into account is what is your license. So because you're publishing this as a package, you want to choose an open source license. There's a really good website. I think it's literally choose an open source license, choosealicense.com. This talks about what open source is, what are the types of open source licenses you could choose from, and then you can pick one based on that. I like to publish everything as MIT, which is essentially, it says, you can do whatever you want with my code, but I am not liable for anything that goes wrong or anything that you do with my code. That's what the MIT license does. And so one thing you can do is you can just type MIT here and then it'll get detected as the MIT license. But I use this package called license, and it literally just creates a license file in this directory. And this will be a part of the package that we publish. So here it says copyright me, and then this is the MIT license verbatim. And so now that exists in my repo as well. So yeah, that license package also comes from npm. This one, and they have a bunch you can choose from after you figured out which license you want to use. The Apache license is another common one. It's similar to MIT, but it's a bit more verbose. It has a lot more stuff included. But yeah, I have my license there. I have my license file. I have a README that describes how to use my project. I have the code that I want to publish. At this point, I'm ready to go. And this name here is the name that it is going to use on npm. So it's possible that this is already taken, especially if someone's watching right now and they're like, oh, I'm going to steal that package name, which is fine. Yeah, it doesn't exist. And as long as I can publish it before them, we should be good. So at this point, I can just run the publish command. So if I do npm run publish, it's going to attempt to push it to npm. I have already done npm login, so it already has my credentials and everything. I'm just going to run this. Not npm run publish, just npm publish. Should be anyways. Great. But now I need to do my two-factor authentication. So let me do that. It's a race to see somebody's gonna steal the package name. They always do. It worked. It worked. Awesome. So literally all I had to do was run this command npm publish. Before that, I already ran npm login that launches a browser, tells you to log in npm, sets your auth token, so that when you run npm publish, it will publish it. But now, if we go here, it exists. And so literally anyone can now install this package and attempt to use it. So let's create another package and try to install this. So I didn't add a bunch of things. Don't use this as your tutorial on publishing a package. Use this as, hey, it's possible to publish a package. I need to learn a lot more. And you can do that on npm. They have a bunch of docs on what you need to publish a package and everything else. I'm showing you the high level. You're gonna dive into these docs and do everything right. Okay, now I'm gonna create my own codes here using packages. Yeah, so this is where it gets tricky. Let me just add that in the list here of what we talk about, because what we just did is a JavaScript only package. It actually is kind of broken though, because we didn't say type is module. We're gonna see. We're gonna see if it's broken. If it's broken, we're gonna publish a fix. If you have TypeScript or a build process, trickier because you have to build before publishing, and there's a way to handle that as well. But let's say we're in this folder using packages, and let's say in here I literally want to run the code that we showed in the example. So like I literally want to be able to run this code right here in this other piece of code right here, which is trying to use this say happy holidays and is trying to get like 2 random greetings. How am I going to do that? First of all, I do need a package.json in this folder right here, the one that's trying to use the package. Yeah, it's not going to work. It's not going to work because I forgot type module. I already know it's not going to work. Common.js versus module is the other thing you have to consider. It's probably when you would want to build process, but okay. let's see if this works. All right, so I have ECMAScript modules or ESM. Yeah, these days everyone is switching to import, so you would probably want to default to that. But yeah, there are some packages out there that are still like the older Common.js stuff. Yeah, so we have this, but now this package needs access to say happy holidays. I'm using a noise removal thing. Let me show you. Yeah, noise suppression. And also I have a noise limiter too, but I turned it off. So when it's off, you can hear it, but I have a air conditioner that's like right there, so I keep the noise suppression on, which by the nature of it gets a bunch of other noises. Okay, but in this folder, I want to have access to say happy holidays, and now since I've published it to npm, I can do npm install say happy holidays, and it's literally going to pull that down from npm. It's going to list it in my package JSON here, and node modules is now going to have that say happy holidays package. So if I've done this correctly, if I've done it right, now when I run this code, it should have access to say happy holidays. So I run this. Named export happy holidays not found. Is my example wrong? Oh yeah, I did export default twice. Dang it, the code's broken. I did this on purpose because I wanted to show you how to do a how to do a patch version bump. Okay, so I need to fix the library here. I fixed the library. Now we need to republish. We need to republish. So we're gonna go back over here to say happy holidays. I think one of the other things I'm gonna do while I'm here to fix it also is to set the type to module. So we set this type module. We're exporting 2 different functions. Now we need to change the version number. So this is a bug fix, so I'm going to bump it to 1.0.1. No, exactly, Alka. there's a lot more involved in terms of tagging, and there are actually tools that can automate this process of like bumping the version number. Like I said, don't do what I'm doing. Just know that it's possible because I'm showing it's possible. There's a lot more involved if you want to do this on a bigger scale and more correct. Let me try that. So if I go back to this, if I run npm version patch, oh, it did it. Yeah, that automatically updates the package.json. That's cool. Okay, but now that I've done that, I can publish it. So I can do publish again. I thought I told it. I guess maybe it's been 5 minutes. So I'll have to do my two-factor auth. And now that I've published it, if we refresh over here, we should see version 1.0.1, and we do. And this is actually another aspect of npm is if a package has been used by some other package, you cannot unpublish a version to prevent like bad things happening. Of like, let's say I publish 1.0 and then some really important package installed this as a dependency, and then let's say I tried to unpublish 1.0, that other really important package would break because this wouldn't exist anymore. So npm has a whole set of rules around allowing you to unpublish or publish depending on what has happened so far. So you can read this whole section on how they prevent those things from happening, and what you're allowed to do in terms of like unpublishing. But typically the way it's going to go is if you made a mistake in your publish, you're just going to have to bump the version unless you catch it quick enough. It works? Okay, so I need to check it now. I think left pad might have been the first thing to trigger it. And then there have been other ones since it. Yeah. Nice, Alka. It works. Okay, so but what I can do now is so right now this other package I'm writing is currently dependent on version 1.0.0. I want the latest version, or sorry, right here. I want the latest version, so I'm gonna try to do an npm install, say happy holidays at latest. Let's see if this bumps the version. It does. So because I did install at latest, now it took my version 1 that I had locally and installed the version 1.0.1. And now let's see if the code runs. It works. Happy Honda days. Merry Chrysler. So this is the whole way of doing it via npm. Yeah, so it works now. But like I said, there's a lot more to consider. First of all, I'm only using JavaScript. If I were using TypeScript, the thing that I publish to npm typically would be the compiled JavaScript code, not the TypeScript code. And typically I would also publish like the type definitions along with it. Good to know, Alka. Yeah, so instead of doing install latest, npm update would have installed the later version as well. Yeah, okay. You also have to consider module type. These days, everyone's using import syntax, so you want to stick with ESM and type module. There's a way to automate all of this. So you can make it so that if you're also using Git in your project, you can add a Git tag, and then you can also have some kind of CI process. For like if you push a tagged commit to GitHub, the CI server could also publish to npm on your behalf if you set that up correctly. And that's how a lot of major projects work. They're not doing it all manually like I'm doing here. They have a bunch of scripts and tools all ready to go where all they have to do is like tag a commit, and then they might have a GitHub action that sees that tagged commit and then publishes the latest version automatically. It automatically like bumps the minor or major version accordingly. And then they might also combine that with conventional commits, which is a way of how to label your commits. So you might have seen this in projects. I know Vue.js uses this. So if you look at the Vue.js repo. Oh, you put it on Dino, Oscar? Nice. Nice. Happy holidays. That's awesome. But if you look at the commits here on the Vue.js repo, you can see that every single commit is descriptive, like chore, release, fix, release, chore, fix. And so they're following conventional commits because there are tools that can now take a look at all of your commits that have happened since the previous release and then create release notes. And And then there are tools that can see, oh, well, this commit is literally labeled as release. So I am now going to bump the major or minor version depending on what the release says to do. But if you look at releases over here, you will see every release has a change log, and it uses the conventional commits to create this change log. So basically, when you bump the version number, it can say, all right, these are all of the commits that have happened since then that are fixes or chores or whatever else that are included in this next version bump, and it automatically creates this change log of all the things that have changed as well. So there are a lot of things to consider when you're making packages for the world. I think if you just want to share something with like a friend, there's an easier way to do it. You can actually just put it on GitHub, and then you don't need to publish it at all. So let me show you how to do that. So like if I go to GitHub and create a repo for this. Yeah, and if you npm has a way of doing it. I think GitHub technically has a way to publish packages privately as well. In that, if you want to publish something that only certain people can see if they have the right access, then they allow you to do that. And a lot of companies might use that for like internal packages. Like let's say they want to publish something that only people at their company use, they might use private publishing. Right, so I'm gonna be creating a submodule is the thing, but that's okay. Okay. I have now put this code on GitHub, and it's actually possible to install something from GitHub. And let me show you how to do that. So let's say we go over to this is the package that installed it from npm. If I just do npm, is it remove or npm uninstall? Say happy holidays. That'll remove it. And so over here, it's no longer listed in my package.json. It's no longer in node modules. But now I can install it from GitHub instead. If I do npm I think if I just put username / repo name, does this work? No. There's a way to do it. Let's look it up. Unless somebody tells me first. Oh, you use the actual Git URL. It's just username repo? Like this. Nice. They figured it out. So if you do it like that, now it's just pulling it from GitHub. And you'll notice there's no like version number or anything like that. I think you can tie it to a specific commit if you'd like to do that. And I actually worked on a project that was internal to a large company, and we didn't want to publish to their internal repo. We actually had the packages depend on each other using commit IDs. So you could actually have like a Git URL with a hash, and that corresponded to a specific version of the code that was installed as a dependency. It's very cumbersome. I think honestly, I would avoid this and would trend towards a like private repo hosts, like either npm private repositories, or there are things like Artifactory. This is a product that lets you host like an internal private npm and various other packages thingies. And then there's one it's open source. I forget what it's called. I used it for a while on my local computer because it was Verdasio. But I think didn't Verdasio get forked? Maybe Verdasio is the fork. We're gonna say this is the one to go with, but you could just literally run this on a server, and then you can set your npm remote to be that server instead. And when you run npm installs, it'll pull it from your own hosted server instead of npmjs.com. That happens. Npm config set registry. This allows you to change your registry. So by default, your registry is always npmjs.com. But if you have a private one, you can use this command. It'll create a config file and then point it somewhere else. What's up, Midsick? I'm doing all right. Yeah, exactly. Along with Chris, and so yeah, I've seen companies that do that where basically like they might have some internal machines that don't have internet access, and they essentially kind of use their private repo as a proxy to get things from the internet. But it also is a way of like making sure the packages you're getting have been validated or okayed. Like there's ways of like allow listing packages and preventing people from installing things that you don't want them to install and stuff like that. Because when you're working at a large corporation, just npm installing something typically isn't how you do things. Like a lot of times you might actually have to go through your legal department because they need to review the licenses of the software or the packages that you're trying to install. And you can have, for instance, like an Artifactory instance that only has approved packages from npm and stuff like that. Okay. At this point, we should test our code. So we changed it so that we're not installing the dependency from npm anymore. We just installed it directly from GitHub. Hopefully the code still works. It does, yeah. Happy holidays, Merry Chrysler. Feliz Navidad. So that works as well. I would say if you're just casually sharing packages, this is probably fine. The one issue you'll run into though is you'll notice there's no version number on here, right? And if you push new code to GitHub and someone else installs it this way, two people potentially are going to have different versions of the code unless you're using like the commit IDs. But if you just casually want to share something, this is probably okay to do. All right. I guess that's all I want to mention. Is there anything else I should talk about? I can show a package that has a build process that I've published, but I literally copied another repo that was doing the whole thing. I should make Udemy courses. Yeah, I probably should. I just like talking about things in an unstructured manner, and it takes more effort to make it structured for like an online course. Yeah, these days you do want types on your packages. And actually, no, I think it's under my personal account. I have a package that generates an entity relationship diagram for a package that has Prisma. Yeah, Prisma ERD generator markdown. And I actually forked this from another code base that had that was doing a similar thing, and it has all of the build process involved. So I guess here's it gets really complicated once you have a larger project. But one of the things you also potentially want to think about is having some kind of mono repo, in that you have a single repo that has multiple packages inside of it, because you might have your own packages that are dependent on your own packages, and you don't want to have to install those from npm. They just need to be dependent locally. And so this, I think, is just using npm workspaces. Yeah, so npm workspaces is another thing to look into. Workspaces are a way of doing that without any extra tool. For a long time, I used Lerna for creating mono repos. These days, a lot of people recommend Turbo Repo. Eddie says that's one thing I love about your live streams. You casually drop super useful knowledge here and there. It's like mining, where I need to keep watching to make sure I don't miss anything. Um, yeah, I mean that's good and bad, right? Like it gets people to watch because they want to get those useful tidbits, but it's also a lot of, I guess, dead air too, where I'm not giving you anything useful. I don't know. I need to figure out a way to take the useful stuff and make it more accessible. I've dabbled in I've like done a basic Spring Boot app. I haven't done a lot of Java stuff. Yeah, I appreciate that. Good XP. Yeah, I know a lot of people like to put me on in the background as well. But yeah, Turbo Repo is another way of making mono repos, and then there's also Inex. All of these are a way to have multiple packages in a single Git repo. And that's very useful when you're building things because then you can have multiple packages that are kind of like dependent on each other. Thank you, Good XP. Thank you for the becoming a member. You're too kind. Appreciate you. That's awesome. Okay. I know I'm throwing a lot at you, but these are things you can look into and learn more about. If we look at my package.json, we can see somewhere I have like a pre-publish command. Or it might actually be that in the nested package. So this package, the generator, is the one that gets published. Let's look at it. Yeah. This has a bunch of stuff going on to like update the changelog and everything else too. So a quick rundown. This is the main repo. It has all of the setup. It's using npm workspaces so that the packages folder has multiple packages. Right now, the only two packages are the actual thing that people want to use, the generator. This folder itself is the one that gets published to npm. Usage is how I test things out locally before publishing. So like usage actually has the Prisma ERD generator markdown installed, but this isn't installed from npm. Workspaces allows me to basically just install it from the directory above it, and then I can write code to like test it. But if you look at the package JSON of this thing specifically that gets published, first of all, because this can run as a command line tool, you can set the bin property. So that's one thing. The other thing is in scripts, there's prepack. So when you run npm publish, it's going to look for this prepack. And if it finds it, it'll run that command. And in this case, we're actually building our TypeScript code. We're compiling it into JavaScript. And so that always needs to run before we publish because we want to have the latest built code that we're publishing up. And then there's this whole section here on release that generates those changelogs. So I showed you the example of Vue.js, how they have their changelog that talks about like all the things that change from every release. This tool, Semantic Release, Commit Analyzer, and Release Notes Generator are the tools that do that automatically. And thank you, Acid Spark, 44 months. Finally not working during one. Yeah, glad to have you. Welcome in. Yeah, and then this also does the version bumping and committing that version bump automatically with all these packages. But if you're interested in that kind of thing, I would just take a look at this package.json to see how all of that is handled. But basically, all of this runs before every publish to make sure it gets built and make sure that all the changelog and everything gets updated. Okay. I thought so. I mean, let's see. Yeah, it's using workspaces. This is how it's done. In the top level package.json, it tells it that every folder in packages is part of the workspace. And then for this, let's see. Yeah, you don't have to do anything special in the nested folders. But if you check this out on npm, this is the package that we're talking about. And specifically, on npm, you can actually, on any package, you can click on code to see what code was published, and you'll notice that it's publishing the dist folder. Like, it's only publishing the compiled files here. It's not actually publishing the TypeScript files. It's just publishing this stuff. I am just using npm. I don't know. I don't know what the difference is though. Yeah. And chat, man, I missed your message a minute ago. As a security guy, I have to mention dependency confusion, an issue that comes up when you think you're installing a package from your private npm server. So stay safe out there. Yeah. I did link the section of npm.js that talks about like mitigations. And one of the things they try to prevent is typo squatting. So this is the idea that, I mean, imagine. So what would be a really, yeah, actually, let's see if this exists. EACT instead of react, because the E on a QWERTY keyboard is next to the R. And if somebody accidentally installs EACT instead of react, it could be a potentially malicious package. Let's look at the code. They list a bunch of package names. Security placeholder. Yeah. So basically, I think npm is taking care of a lot of like common typos, especially for a library like React. Like if we look at React, it has millions of downloads. Yeah, 15.6 million weekly downloads, and you want to prevent people from accidentally installing like a malicious package that was at like a typo or something like that. So npm does its best job to do that, but like what Chatman is saying is it's also possible, like if you have a private npm repo and then you spell the package name wrong, you could be installing from the public npm instead of your private host, which is another thing you could run into. So yeah, you do have to be careful, and you should be careful. Raise your hand if you ever installed .env by mistake. Which one is that? What's funny is like this isn't even a typo squatter. This is like just an old package that hasn't been updated in 10 years. Last published 10 years ago. Whereas the one that we typically use is this one, which was last published 6 months ago. But now this is actually built into node.js. I probably need to do some research on that. Like, is this one even useful anymore now that it's built into node.js? But yeah. Spelling it right is still an issue if there's a malicious public package with the same name. Oh, I see. And I guess if you have your private repo host, I don't know the right term to use. Private, is it repository? Registry. Your private registry. If you don't have your private registry set to install from private packages first, if it instead installs from public first, then you could run into that issue. Yeah. Yeah, so a Node has introduced, I don't even think it's behind a feature flag anymore. --env file. Node.js 20 introduced experimental support for .env files. Is it still experimental? Stability 1, active development. Okay. But what about version 21? Is it stable there? I don't want to download it. Um, my MacBook is about to die, which means I'm probably going to end stream soon. um, where's the? Yeah, I was just trying. Is there a version? Oh, here we go. Yeah, it still lists as stability 1 active development, so it's not fully stable yet. So yeah. Yeah. Cool, but yeah, eventually we won't need .env anymore. All right, I'm gonna get out of here. This was super fun. We should do this more often. we should hang out more often. Thanks for your question as well, Ucha. I'll push up all of these examples over to this GitHub repo. It'll show up here with a folder with today's date if you want to see any of the code examples that I wrote today. I'll push that up after stream. I do have an Apple Silicon Mac. Yep, I got it probably about a year ago. Yeah, I think my wife bought it for me for Christmas last year. Yeah, we're gonna stream more often. We're gonna hang out more often. I haven't set a schedule yet on the calendar. But if you go to this website, I'm gonna try to figure out what my next streams are gonna be, and it'll be updated there. And then also, if you join the Discord, I send out go live notifications there, and then I also have a mailing list. You have an M3 Max, nice, nice. Did I solve the challenges from Discord? Which challenges? Yeah, SMC May. Thank you for listening. Thank you everyone for the questions that you had. But yeah, if you want to get email notifications when I go live, sign up on my mailing list as well. And in the meantime, go check out my YouTube channel. That's all I got. Thanks for watching. If you're over on YouTube, follow on Twitch. If you're on Twitch, go follow on YouTube. We're gonna do a raid. I'll post the link in the YouTube chat if you want to join us in the raid. And yeah, happy holidays, everyone. Hopefully, I'll see you later this week as well. Awesome. Appreciate all the comments and questions and everything. And wherever you are in the world, have a wonderful morning, afternoon, evening, or night. Until next time, here's this.